than this team. And I would submit to you that they are far better than their record, and they too have an outstanding QB.
As much as you are what your record says you are, I don't think that's indicative of what the Baylor Bears can be as a team. And this Sawyer Robertson has played really good football. They're going to have to get the running game going, and he's going to have to be a very big part of it. He's played well since he's came in for DeQuan Finn, but he's going to have a special one tonight.
They are stoked for this one as the Cyclones make their way out to our Progressive Game Countdown, brought to you by Progressive. These and other questions will be answered tonight as the Bears take on the Cyclones. It is next. It is on Fox. It's under the lights, and you don't want to miss it.
Hey, get your head in the game, son. The scout from football college is up in the stands.
Maybe you'd rather go to school for insurance.
I didn't raise no insurance man.
But you did, Dad. Football's your passion, but mine is providing around-the-clock protection to Progressive customers who bundle home and auto.
Jamie, we need you out here for football.
You're giving up on your dream, James.
No, Dad. I'm giving up on yours.
Oh, James, wait! Oh, that's not the exit.
Pro-level performance at work and at home. Right now, save.
We welcome you back to Ames, Iowa. There you see the temperature. It's warm, it's breezy. It will be a factor tonight, as will our sideline reporter, the one and only Josh Sims.
Well, this Baylor team is at a crossroads after two heartbreaking losses, especially that one against Colorado. But head coach Dave Aranda says that, look, we've gone through it. It has been tough for us. But this team is frustrated, they are angry, and most importantly, there is a sense of urgency. In fact, he said this week was our best week of practice. He told the guys, look, we are a good team that is finding ways to lose. Tonight, we need to find a way to win. And their quarterback this week talked about the fact that they have the guys in this locker room to be successful. They just have to keep fighting, and no matter how it gets done, good, bad, or ugly, they need to find a way to play well for 4 quarters, guys.
Indeed. This is a closely competed series between these two. Look at that. Until last year, all the games have been one-score games. A season ago, Iowa State went into Waco and took care of business. Matt Campbell, now in his 9th year, made it all the way up from Division III, Mount Union, where he was able to sow the seeds for success. And look at that. He's already the winningest coach here. Did it in 9 years, passing the great Dan McCarney, who did it in 12 seasons, culminating with those outstanding teams led by Seneca Wallace in the early 2000s. It is a whiteout, and it is packed. And the grassy knolls on the north end are also filled to capacity. And those may be the best seats in the house. Baylor won the toss, deferred, so the Cyclones will get it first. And they will be going against that stiff breeze blowing heavily from the north to south. Jack Stone, the junior from Dallas, Texas, and transfer from Michigan State, will be handling the kickoff duties. And back deep, Jalen Knoll, who is one of the best return men in college football. He won't get a chance this time. A touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. Here comes Rocco. If the name Beck sounds familiar, it should. His dad was a star tight end, played in the league, and would be here tonight if not for a radio job with the Jets. And of course, he's a coach of the Battlehawks of the UFL that you're so familiar with, Devin.
Oh, yes, I am, and he's a really good coach.
Yes, indeed.
For those Battlehawks.
Got him into the playoffs a season ago in our spring football venture on Fox. And he brings out Abu Sama, and he is a 100% home run hitting running back. Right away, he takes it. And he gets out for 4 yards. This is an offensive line that has not performed well on the left-hand side. You notice they went to the right on that particular play behind Hufford, Black, and Miller. Sama remains in the backfield on 2nd down and 6. One more time, they'll try that right side, and look at him go. Like pistons, those legs. And if he ever gets to the 2nd level, Devin, look out.
Take a look at that double team right there in the middle of your screen, getting those defensive linemen down the field. And that's the Abu Sama that we love to see, a guy with powerful legs driving the defense.
One more time, a steady diet of him. Only a couple, maybe 3 on that 1st down carry after a gain of 10. First time we saw him tote it was in Farmageddon in the snow, and it went for a touchdown the final weekend of the regular season. 2 veteran running backs, including Sanders, who's doing pretty well himself, left the team into the portal right before that game against Kansas State, a game 1 at the end of the year that really carried some momentum coming into the start of this season, according to Matt Campbell. Jalen Jackson comes in for him, and keep an eye on this kid. He's outstanding. There's a quick slant pattern to Jaden Higgins, and Higgins has the 1st down to the 46-yard line of the Bears.
Nice controlled slant route by Higgins. He does an outstanding job of just pacing himself, not blazing into the middle, controlled, and Beck puts it right on his stomach.
Out of the gun, Beck with time. Now he's flushed. He can run. He's a very physical runner, too. There's a marker in the backfield behind him, thrown in an area where you suspect holding would be the call.
Yeah, it's going to be a holding, and they didn't need it. And Tim, I feel like I mentioned that 2nd and 3rd play.
Oh, yeah.
Number
Yes,
66,
you did.
offense, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So they tag Tyler Miller, the right tackle, number 66. Right there on the right-hand side, and that's an easy one to call.
Yeah, you can see it. It's always when the quarterback gets out of the pocket, but those are the legs I was talking about that he's using a lot more. You don't need to have that hold. Let him go. Allow Beck to beat him with his legs, and you'll have a big play.
Now, dealing with that strong linebacker that's back in the lineup after a week's suspension, Steve Linton, 6th-year player out of Dublin, Georgia. They're really happy to have him. He's very active on the edge. They believe they're going to be a lot better defensively this week than they were in the first half against BYU. Hansen. You'll see 4 running backs in there. Carson Hansen out for 5 yards. The weak side linebacker, Keaton Thomas, number 11, with the stop. They get the ball back to the 49-yard line. The line to make is the 36 of Baylor. Trips to the bottom of your screen. They run a lot of tight ends in there. Back shoulder throw. It is incomplete. At the 25, Jalen Knoll appeared to have it for a moment. Just a lot of jousting, a lot of contact by that corner, and then the safety, Devin Bobby, along with Chateau Reed, 21.
Yeah, you can see just trying to get to the outside, and because the defensive back is on the top, you go back shoulder. I love the throw from Beck, but you're just not able to. I think that's a good call. I don't like a pass interference call there. You can see that Knowles kind of pushing off. They're kind of jousting. There's no real impediment to go back to get the ball. I like the no call there, and it's a miss there for O'Neill.
Carson Hansen checks back in on 3rd and 15. Beck stepping up, and he decides to tote it again, and he'll take himself out of bounds, but not before he makes the line to make. He's inside the 36-yard line. That should be enough for the 1st down. Look at this green grass.
Yeah, you got rushers coming, but you have to keep contained. And keep contained doesn't mean necessarily let him go outside. If you get too far up the field, he can climb underneath and make the run. A nice job of Beck of seeing that.
What poise. Now he goes to Hansen, who gets to the edge quickly towards the boundary. Keaton Thomas made the tackle. That's a gain of 8, 2.
It's a nice job of securing the edge by big number 72, who's thrust into duty, Jalen Travis, getting the start today at that left tackle position.
Yeah, that side of the line, the left guard Barrett and the left tackle Travis, they really need some improvement in run blocking on that side of their offensive line.
And Jalen Travis is the improvement they're looking for. He's the tackle they put in that position.
Oh, Jackson's fast. He is so quick. Able to get to the edge with relative ease. Devin Bobby, the strong safety again, junior from DeSoto, Texas, makes the stop. Another gain of 5. They're ahead of the chain so far, partner.
Again, Jalen Travis doing a nice job of securing the edge and allowing the running back to get outside. You see that? Once that edge is secured, you've got nothing but daylight for Jalen Jackson, who's a talented back.
They just keep getting yardage on first down, don't they? 5 and 6. Steve Linton gets that tackle after a 4-yard gain by Jalen Jackson. There you see Dave Aranda, defensive guru, has a national championship ring from the 2019 LSU team when he was assisting Ed Orgeron. And Joe Burrow is his quarterback. Hanson will be a couple of yards shy of the first down at the 15. This is just the kind of first drive the doctor ordered for this Iowa State team. They're getting 6.4 yards per play so far on this drive.
Yeah, and it's a mix of the run and the pass, and obviously they haven't completed a bunch of passes downfield, but Rocco Beck's legs have been huge, just like I talked about in the open. He's going to be able to make these second and third plays when the first play just isn't open.
Third down, a short 2. 12th play of the drive. Going for the corner. Incomplete. Higgins also looking for a flag. Will not get it. That particular play call tells me they knew they were going on fourth down. That's Corey Gordon, number 24 in coverage.
Yeah, and Corey Gordon Jr. is a guy that has continued to improve, and his length is what helps him there. He's a guy that's 6'2", so usually when Higgins would have the huge advantage in height, he doesn't have it with that long cornerback.
A week ago, the Cyclones' streak of scoring 39 straight times when reaching the red zone ended with a missed field goal. 14 of 15 on the season for them in the red zone. Going for it on 4th and 2. Sama stopped. The Bears are up to it as they tried the right side of their own offensive line, which they felt more comfortable with, and that was a tremendous defensive surge by the Bears, and great recognition by their secondary to come away with the stop. That's a happy Baylor Bear defense for obvious reasons. Sama accustomed to an Abu, but Tazzino said no,
I didn't have to spend my life.
After a big stop on downs by Baylor, after a long drive by Iowa State on their opening possession, the Bears take over at their 16-yard line. Sawyer Robertson at quarterback. Little pump fake, and now shooting for the corner, and he's got his man. That's Hal Presley, number 16. Now he's going to be a tough guy to defend, and you add him to the other side, Josh Cameron. Look out, that's 31 yards.
He's got great length, and you can see him just getting down the field there, finding his way up the sideline, and there again, the back shoulder. Very nice throw by Sawyer Robertson.
Nice job by that Iowa State defense, recognizing Bryson Washington on that carry, number 30, getting the start, the redshirt freshman this week. Young man out of Franklin, Texas. There you see Sawyer. Young man that 5 different times was told, no, you're not the starter. That's a tough pill to swallow when you're from Lubbock, Texas, and you're a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. Finally, it's his team. Out pattern for the aforementioned Cameron, incomplete. Well defended. Verdon and company in the general area for Iowa State. Miles Purchase, number 5, pressed into duty. Darian Porter was a game time decision, and I don't see him out there. So it looks like we may see Purchase, number 5, a lot more at the corner. This time he's towards the boundary. 3rd down, 11. Robertson running out of time. He can run it too. Very athletic quarterback. And that last burst is going to get him very close to the line to make. Should be a first down, and it is.
Again, you rush too far up the field. It allows for the quarterback to come underneath and get down the field. A nice job of Sawyer Robertson understanding what he sees downfield. They covered everybody. They dropped 8. get underneath it and go pick up the first down, and a nice job by him.
See, both of these teams love to run a lot of 11 and 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 3 wide receiver set. Play fake, going for it all on the post. It's Cameron. Incomplete. Marker down. Purchase is going to be the guilty party, it would appear. And the fans don't like it.
They got exactly what they wanted, and I think Purchase was early with his right hand.
Pass interference, number 5, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, it's very clear. It's clearly the right hand, left hand. You can't get to him and cover his vision. There you go, right hand, grabbing that right arm so he can't go up and make the catch. I mean, 34, Josh Cameron is a big-bodied wide receiver, so he's a difficult matchup, but you just got to stay on top. Don't allow him to get behind you, because once he gets behind you, you got to try to go through him, which is what happened there for Purchase.
We were down on the field before the game, partner. I thought he looked like Charles Haley down there. He could be a defensive end. That's Washington, spun down by Dominic Orange, the nose tackle, number 95. All 6'4", 325 pounds of the junior out of Kansas City, Missouri.
It's a really good job by the junior out of Kansas City, Missouri, of holding that edge. You can see him there, keeping that outside arm free and meeting the runner before he can get to the outside. Now, he doesn't finish the play, but the cavalry comes to help him. That's a big dude disengaging.
Yeah, and he's down on the field. And he's down injured. Jacob Ellis came up to make sure that he got Washington down, but it was Dominic that made the play. Hope he's okay.
So it's going to come down.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
You can see there's a bit of friendly fire here with Orange making the play, and then Brzezina comes in and he kind of misses, right? He hits his own guy, and then you get another opportunity to see more guys coming in and running into each other, and that's just playing hard. You want to see them play hard, and it's just unfortunate that Orange took the brunt of that hit.
2nd down and 9. Looked like the wrist, part of that arm, and I don't know. Purchase is leaving the game, and he's a little bit dinged, and here's why. Towards the end of this play.
Yeah, it's a second friendly fire there.
Yeah.
Verdon comes in to try to kill the running back, right? But Purchase is in the way, and the referees are doing a good job of trying to protect him. You can see he's a little woozy coming off the field, and they make him stay off the field, at least for this play, so he can get checked out. I like that. I like that by the referees. Protect the players. You saw that he took a hard hit to the head, and you need to make sure that he's okay before he enters back in the game.
And Malik Verdon with the, oh, I'm so sorry look on his face.
I'm sorry.
My bad.
But the one thing I do love, Verdon, Brzezina, they're playing violently, right? They're playing violently, trying to get the runner, and they're not holding anything back.
John Haycock's defense, similar to Aranda's, they love to bring pressure from their perimeter. Robertson, he can throw on the run. That is caught inside the 5. Bryson Washington coming out of the backfield. That's one of the reasons he's in there tonight as the starter, because he can catch passes. And watch this at the top of your screen.
I mean, this is so cool, because he's just going to be waiting on the sideline, waiting, and he's going to leak down the field, open. Nice job by Sawyer Robertson finding him as he's continuing to navigate throughout the pocket, and that's what you get with empty. You kind of lose guys if you're the defense.
That's a running back that can play wide receiver. That was proven. Fade pattern, and well defended. Hal Presley was the intended receiver. Jontez Williams, number 3, had a pick, a big one to put away Houston a week ago. Iowa State's last 2 opponents have not run a single play in the red zone. And now look, wow. Baylor got there in a heartbeat tonight. Opponents have only reached the red zone 5 times in the 4 games played by the Cyclones. Same play. And again, tremendous defensive work. Jontez Williams all over Hal Presley. 3rd and goal.
How about that? By the cornerback, Jontez Williams, saying, oh, you can try it again if you want, but there'll be nothing. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try the bottom of the screen this time, right? Big number 11, Katron Jackson Jr.
Robertson, an RPO that works to Josh Cameron, touchdown. The moment it appeared that he was going to bring it down and run, they sucked in and he made them pay.
It's almost like the Tim Tebow jump pass, but from the outside. Move here, and then circle back around. A nice job again by Robertson, running, tucking the ball, and then popping it right behind. In Little League, we used to call that the tight end dump, right? You just wait for him to clear, and then you dump it right over the line of scrimmage. A very nice job by Coach Spavital of drawing that up.
Did I ever tell you I was a tight end in the 7th grade?
No way.
But I couldn't dunk.
I mean, 7th grade, I wouldn't expect you.
Robertson's 6th touchdown pass. That's the 4th for Cameron. And we told you, Baylor has a matchup tonight that favors them. Iowa State came up empty on their long drive. The Bears, with some explosives, get in for a 6-point payday.
I have a surprise for you.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. Feast your eyes on.
Time to stay in the game, sponsored by Hampton by Hilton for the stay. What are those keys?
For Baylor, they have to own the first quarter, and you're seeing them do it. They've been outscored in first quarters, 45-10. All the rest of the quarters, they win 61-50. And for Iowa State, you have to make Baylor a drop-back team. You can't allow them to get into play action and establish the run game. And right now, Sawyer Robinson is dropping back and finding his way, and his legs are killing this Iowa State defense.
I want to go back to that 4th down stop that keyed this long drive for Baylor. Take a look at this.
Yeah, I mean, it's really big. Right here, you got a matchup of the right guard, Brendan Black, against a defensive lineman in Devontae Tizzino, and he just loses, right? It's a one-on-one opportunity. He doesn't win his one-on-one, and now you have an opportunity for Baylor to go back and drive down the field and put points on the board. So the keys are win the first quarter, and Baylor, to this point, has won that.
58 of those yards on that drive for the touchdown came through the air. So Robertson, both with his legs and his arm, very effective. Jalen Jackson stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Tackles for losses, putting Iowa State behind the chains, has been problematic, and that happened right there.
Yeah, 47 coming down. Those backside pursuits, when you don't block that guy, he comes down and there's nobody for him. So if you're not stout up on the front side, if you don't get movement, the running back has to wait, and then you get a guy behind it. It's completion there to Higgins, who runs a nice little hitch route. That's a nice job of getting Rocco Beck back into the groove of the game, get him a nice completion, an easy completion, to make sure he can continue this drive and set up an easier 3rd down than what they would have had.
That was Caleb Parker that made the play. 3rd down and 7.
Here's this guy right there, Higgins, who he loves to get the ball to.
Back down to the gun, going empty. It's a crossing pattern. It's caught wide open for Bramer. Benjamin Bramer. He has it to the 33.
You got a 2-man game. He starts right, doesn't like what he sees, and he gets across to his progression, and his big tight end. How about a target that's 6'7", 250 pounds? You love that as a quarterback, and he puts it right underneath his chin. Love the concept. The concept was called knife, where you have a dig going behind, but you have something on the inside to hold that linebacker, and the nice job is done by the Iowa State defense.
Look at that double tight end look. A little cross-buck action to Carson Hansen. They'll do that a lot. Down to the 30-yard line, so a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7 coming up. They'll kill you with their tight ends. Sometimes they'll only have 1 wide receiver in a pass pattern with 3 tight ends on the field.
They love their tight ends here at Iowa State.
They've got Klotz. Bramer, of course, is healthier now than he's been in a long, long time. Averaging 19 yards per catch, so he's the guy that they send out. And, of course, you'll see some of Burkle, 82 Tyler Moore as well.
Yeah, middle of the field open there.
On 2nd and 7. Back again. Sliding in safely. Gets a healthy gain to the 27-yard line, so another pickup of 3. 3rd down and 4 coming up.
I love watching this Dave Aranda defense play. because he's going to bring 4, but you just don't know which 4.
Right.
And it's up to the offensive line to figure it out, and that's a nice job by Beck, making sure that he doesn't take a sack. He uses his legs, gets out of there, because he had the middle of the field open, but he's just not able to get to it because of the pressure.
It's interesting what Dave did in the last year. He's now calling his own defenses. He's become his team's own defensive coordinator, but he does have plenty of help. More on that coming up. Beck is flushed, lets it fly inside the 10, incomplete. Higgins again had it, and then all of a sudden he got popped. A second big-time hit in this last 5 minutes by Caleb Parker, number 47. That was an incredible throw.
Yeah, it's another one of those second, third plays. He was just running an out route, but then he turns it up. But nice job of the safety coming over to make sure that he helps draw that ball out. That's 2 guys hitting you while you're trying to make a catch. You would love for him to have a little stronger hands and make that catch, but that's a tough ask.
This will be a 45-yard try for Kyle Conradry. 5 of 7 this year. And this one is going to go right down Broadway. The Cyclones will take the 3 for a quick answer to Baylor. Fox College Football is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for nearly 160 years. 2021, a remarkable run. They were 1 upset loss to TCU away from perhaps making it to the Final 4 of college football. But since then, after that 12-2 Sugar Bowl victory against Ole Miss, 11-19. How the mighty have fallen. And it's not as if they had a big drop-off in talent. They just lost a lot of close games. And Dave Aranda is now searching to find the mojo on the road. A lot of times, and we talked to him at great length yesterday, wonderful meeting with him, as it always is. He said, look, I looked out there in the first quarter last week after a great week of practice, and I thought I was watching, the body snatchers. What happened to my guys?
Yeah.
And that can happen a lot. Look, we're living in a world where Alabama can beat Georgia in maybe the most unbelievable game of college football this year, and then lose to Vanderbilt the next week.
Yeah.
That's the reality of college football today.
And Tim, that's why you play the game.
That's right. And I'm sick and tired of hearing and seeing, graphics showing the probability of winning a game when you're down by 4 points. Okay, play the game. All right?
All right,
Let's play
Tim. All right. Take a deep breath.
We see enough graphics on our screen already.
Take a
to
deep
not
breath.
have to worry about that. Okay, I had to get that off my chest. 27% probability.
Pure playoff privilege.
My you-know-what. First down from the 25 and a quick hitch. It goes to Presley. Maybe a yard, possibly 2 before being pushed back. You look at these two teams, Devin, and you think 24 points to win a game would be a lot with the way these defensive teams play. And it's like a mirror image. They play the same way.
They do play very similarly, and so these quarterbacks, you can see they kind of got a beat on what the defense is trying to do to them, and they're having success.
2nd down and 8. Robertson with plenty of time. Out of the backfield, that's Pendergrass. Dawson Pendergrass, the sophomore from Alba, Texas. And he gets it out to the 38-yard line for a first down, a gain of 11. Verdon takes him down.
That's the maturation of Sawyer Robertson, right? Everybody's covered downfield, and like we just talked about, seeing this defense all the time in practice, hey, they're covered, they're dropping a lot of guys. Let's get the ball to the check down, and that check down creates a first down.
Well, did you see how quickly Jacob Ellis got over there to help Verdon? Up the middle goes Pendergrass. That's what they need more of. Both of these teams want to get more yardage on first down. At least 4, and if you can get 5, that's wonderful. That puts you ahead of the chains with the way they play. Jacob Ellis, the aforementioned number 44 linebacker, making the stop. Keep an idea on that left-hand side of the line where they may want to go.
Yeah, Caden Siraki is the new starting left tackle, number 74 for Baylor.
Play fake. Robertson again with all kinds of time. A little curl, it's caught up at midfield for the first down. That's Katron Jackson Jr., the senior from Roy City, Texas, has 8 yards and a first down.
As much as these defenses are similar, these offenses couldn't be more different. And what the receivers are able to do is read the defense as they're running their routes. If you have that much time, these receivers are going to get open. They're already reading to begin with, but when you give them that much time, they find the open cavities, which there always are against defenses.
And now the Bears are averaging over 7 yards per play.
Iowa State has to find a way to get pressure on Sawyer.
Nice pump fake and a beauty towards the corner. Late marker down. It'll be pass interference again. Shooting for Ashton Hawkins, the slot receiver. Miles Purchase again.
Pass interference, number 5, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the second critical pass interference penalty, and again, that's an easy one to make.
Yeah, I mean, he's running through the receiver, maybe a little bit of an acting job by Hawkins, but you can't catch up to the receiver, and the reason is he's behind, right? So he's behind, he has to turn his back and try to find him, and once he finds him, even though he looks back for the ball, he has both hands on the wide receiver as the ball's trying to drop. He impedes him. I like the call.
From the 35 of Iowa State, first down. Robertson, oh, I love his poise and presence in that pocket of his. Now when flushed, he just throws it away. Crowd is still upset over those pass interference calls. I think a lot of times, Devin, there's a misunderstanding. They watch these games on Sunday, and it's officiated entirely differently in the National Football League than what we see in college.
It is, and after a pass interference, that's an outstanding job by the Iowa State defense of doing what we call a plaster. When the quarterback starts to move around, create, and try to buy time to get the ball thrown downfield, firstly, you have to contain him and don't let him run, but also in the back end, you have to plaster to your wide receivers and make sure you don't allow them to get free.
It's like we've got a timeout coming for Iowa State.
You got that, Tim?
I got it.
Plaster?
Plaster.
Got it.
Let's go downstairs to Josh Sims.
He's plastered all over the field down there.
Yes, he is. Josh?
Well, guys, I got an update on Dominique Orange. He left the game with what appeared to be a right shoulder injury. They took the pads off. They wrapped the shoulder, put his pads back on, and tried to test it out. He was frustrated, slammed down his helmet. You could see he was still in a lot of pain. They took the shoulder pads off. Right now, he's sitting on the bench and has not entered the game again, guys.
And so, Tim, thanks, Josh. That's very unfortunate. And we've seen Sawyer have a ton of time.
Yeah.
And why is that? One of their better pass rushers at the defensive line position, number 95, Dominique Orange, 6'4", 325 pounds, and he is one of our own Bruce Feldman's freaks. They're missing that, and Sawyer Robertson is having a ton of time in that backfield to run around and make plays.
And let me tell you, players in college football, I mean, they want to be one of Feldman's freaks.
Oh, my goodness.
Like an NFL player wanted to win the Madden Award.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted to be on the All-Madden team.
Of course.
It's the same thing.
Hey, Tim, you told me in 7th grade you almost dunked. You were going to be on Feldman's Freaks. You wouldn't even be up here with me if you were dunking in 7th grade.
The only thing freaky-deaky about me was my broadcasting ability in the 7th grade.
What?
2nd and 10. I gave up football in the 9th grade to call these games, man. 2nd and 10. A little swing pattern out to Baldwin. Anandre Baldwin. Young man from Killeen, Texas, gets out for 11 yards, and again, right on time, they get another first down. They're averaging, as we said, over 7 yards per play. This is why.
That's the first snap of man-to-man defense that you see, and you have number 4, safety Jeremiah Cooper, trying to chase around across the field, and he just doesn't get there in time.
Robertson flushed. And look at that speed that he shows you. I mean, he's just devastatingly quick. To go along with his ability and poise in that pocket of his, he has got quick feet and he's strong. A lot like John Mateer we saw at Washington State a few weeks ago.
And the one thing that you have to pay attention to, because DeQuan Finn, who would be serving as the backup quarterback, is not there right now. He didn't make the trip. They're not calling design runs for him. They want to call design runs, but they can't because they just don't have the depth at quarterback right now. And so all these runs that you're seeing are they're him creating and making plays, and he continues to do it.
We've come to the end of one. We've got 3 more to go before a packed house in a very meaningful Big 12 game between the Cyclones and the Baylor Bears.
Bacon.
Our Pacific Life game summary is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 160 years. Robertson is lighting it up And Becht has played well, but they have not converted in the red zone to the extent that Baylor has. And now the Bears are once again right there on the doorstep as we open the second quarter. I mean, look at that. And John Haycock has got to find a way to get a pass rush without two of his big guns up front, Dominique Orange and J.R. Singleton, both hurt early on.
And they don't love doing it, but they've got to bring extra guys and put pressure on Sawyer.
Well, and that pass is caught by the tight end, Michael Trigg. And Josh Sims has more on that situation.
And guys, an update on J.R. Singleton out of the game right now. He's been rubbing that right knee. He rode on the bike for a little bit, then he ran up and down the sideline trying to give it a go. Right now, shaking his head. Looks like he's in a lot of pain.
You're right, Haycock, really one of the authors of the three-cloud defense. They do not like to blitz. They may have to after losing those two. Up the gut, Pendergrass hammered. He ran right into some extra pressure that was coming from the second level that time. Ezeagu, number 88, in for Singleton, made the stop.
And you're going to see that's the pressure we want. You got to get inside and try to make a play. Now, E-Bull does not make the play initially, but it slows him down, makes Pendergrass bounce, and you can find all the rest of the guys to get to the runner. You got zero coverage, nobody back. It's an opportunity.
3rd and 7.
There it goes.
Into the end zone, caught, Trigg, touchdown, Baylor. He grabbed that with one arm and brought it in. He was well defended. That's the kid that's been a little banged up at tight end, but they're happy to have him back. And he was going up against one of the best, Freeler back there and a few others.
It'll likely be a pass interference on the defense or a holding, but when you have zero coverage, you want to get to your...
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 1, Baylor. That is his first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
And Dave Aranda talking to him.
Yeah, you don't like that part, but you do like the matchup problem that he represents. And when you have zero coverage, the idea is it's man-to-man across the board. You're probably going to get pressure. You want to find your best matchup. And Sawyer Robertson thought that his best matchup was the 6'4", 246-pound Michael Trigg. And Coach Bavital, when we talked to him yesterday, said he is a matchup problem for defenses.
He was suspended for the BYU game for some off-field issues. So, you know, he's got some attitude to him. And he showed too much of it there. Well, Iowa State trailed 13-0 at the half. You might recall a year ago. Right now, this is a Baylor team that seems to be right on time, and their best players are making big plays. Fox College Football is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Baylor out of the gates quickly on the road here in Ames, Iowa.
Something they are not accustomed to doing.
Oh, indeed. They have indeed flipped the script. 10 plays, 75 yards. Trigg on the receiving end of that touchdown. He did get targeted for, you know, the gun sign that...
He's doing a celebration. All the kids are doing it.
Yeah.
I don't love the call,
right.
But, you know.
Well, now think about this. You had a terrible kick. A little extracurricular going on after it.
The 50-yard line.
That means half of the field, because of that call and the poor kick, means that Iowa State will only have 50 yards to go. As Stone just missed that one, and you add that to the 15-yard personal foul for taunting, and now all of a sudden you give Iowa State a short field. That's the nature of this game when you get a little too emotional. And look, it's a subjective call from time to time. Some officials are a little more conservative and letter of the law than others. Just hand it back to the referee when you score the touchdown. Just and play on. 1st and 10 from the 50. Sama wrapped up. Boy, Jackie Marshall was right there, wasn't he? Defensive end, 6'3", 290-pounder from LaPlace, Louisiana.
And he shouldn't have made that play. I'm just telling you, he's inside with his inside arm free. He sees Sama go outside, and he just throws the offensive lineman to the left of him and makes the play. What an outstanding job by big number 0, Jackie Marshall. I love the big guys with small numbers. I mean, he's got the smallest one you could possibly have.
2nd and 10. They go empty. Becht. Look at that quick convergence. The curl caught by Higgins. He's been hammered a couple of times tonight. He picks up 4. It'll be 3rd down and 6. There is our defensive helper, as they say, Matt Powledge. He is the right-hand man to Dave Aranda, and a very smart man that Dave believes is probably more built to be a head coach than just about any assistant that he has. That was Mauser, I beg your pardon, Taylor Mauser, that we were looking at rather than Powledge. And there's a curl pattern caught at the 35 for a 1st down. Jalen Knoll on the receiving end. So my apologies to Mauser, the offensive coordinator, now going to the air early in this drive to get things going, an 11-yard gain.
It's a really nice job by Knoll of running what we call a 9-stop, getting to 9 yards, putting the brakes on, and the ball's perfectly thrown on time under pressure for Rocco Becht. When we got a chance to see Noah at practice yesterday, It's like looking at a running back. He's all of 200 pounds, but he's an outstanding wide receiver.
Yes, he is. And now with Higgins, you've got really 2. You could argue that as a tandem of receivers, Becht has 2 of the best. And there's another example of it. Jaden Higgins, as if on cue, partner.
Yeah.
Running a nice slant. It was right there for him, and that's Corey Gordon, 24. On top of him.
You essentially got one-on-one and a nice job of getting to the toes of the DB, turning, and the ball's right there. Becht is playing on time, and that's what you want to see.
Jalen Jackson, they had big plans for him tonight. He's one of those scat backs at 5'7" and 180 that sometimes gets lost by a lot of linebackers and defensive lineman.
And by the time you see him, he's gone.
Yeah.
Right. He's that little back in the backfield. And though he is kind of a scat back, he can run in the power game.
No doubt.
He can hide behind those offensive linemen and then dart out before the defense even knows it.
Carson Hansen checks back in, number 26.
Got pressure coming off the edge.
Yep. Baylor coming with a corner blitz. Becht rolls away from it and throws it away. Wise move on his part. He felt it coming, and it was backside pressure at its zenith. 3rd down and 9 coming up.
And you got pressure coming on the outside and up the middle, and he has to get out, evade, and just throw the ball away. A smart play by Rocco Becht. Don't make a bad play worse, and allow yourself on 3rd down to have a manageable 3rd down. He's got one-on-one opportunity right here. Higgins.
Becht, plenty of time, lets it fly into traffic and double coverage. Incomplete. Jalen Knoll, he has confidence that he can go up and high point it, but unable to reel that one in. And it's 4th down. Devin Lemire, 20, outstanding free safety leading the charge back there, but that one was into a lot of traffic.
Yeah, if you're Rocco Becht, you don't want to get used to this. You got too many green jerseys in the area. You want to make sure you preserve the 3 points that you already have, and you don't want to put the ball in danger. That was almost a disaster. Good thing it fell to the turf harmlessly.
Conradry from 38 yards. He made a 47-yard earlier. Uh-oh, right through with plenty of space before the upright. Becht was somewhat fortunate on this one. Oh boy, in the danger zone, but they do come away with 3.
Want some football trivia? Just ask Siri. Which coach has the most college football championships?
Pretty sure it's a guy that's in broadcasting now.
1, 2, 3. Nick Saban. There you go. Look at us. Look at us. Who would have thought?
Hey, you see the red zone story.
Can't keep trading 7 for 3.
And no doubt about that. Matt Campbell has built a culture program here at Iowa State. Tonight he's playing a very hungry Baylor team that's come in with intentionality. And from a matchup standpoint has been difficult, even if his defense were healthy. And right now it's not. Boy, Sawyer Robertson has come out on fire.
I said that he needed to be special tonight, and a lot of it has been done with his legs. He's able to create plays even when they aren't there because those second and third play opportunities are presenting themselves. And then when you get Spavital, who puts him in a position where that third play happens by design, there's no chance for the Iowa State defense. They have to find a way to first get pressure. You're keeping him in the pocket. You got to keep him in the pocket, but you have to put pressure on him. And the guy you can do it with is the linebacker, number 9, Kale Brazina.
Washington off the right side. He gets 6 on first down. 2nd down and 4 coming up on Yedem. Tyler on Yedem, the defensive end, number 11 with the stop. Redshirt junior out of Richmond, Texas. Out of the shotgun again. Washington one more time. Boy, he's running strong in there. Just kept churning those legs of his for a first down. Pick up a 5.
And where is he running, Tim? Right in the middle. Dominique Orange and J.R. Singleton. Both guys aren't in the game. 2 big run stuffers in the middle of the defense that Iowa State depends on.
Washington, well, you cannot get him down at initial contact, can you? I mean, wow. Ran into quite a line and then bounced off of it, spun, got as many yards as he could.
Take a look at the offensive line. They're going to create a new line of scrimmage down the field. Let it run there. A very nice job of movement, right? It's not a big play, but it's movement. And you can allow your running back to just get behind Bryson Washington and just push the pod.
2nd and 4. Well, that time the turf monster got it. Now that's wonderful grass. You and I went down before the game.
Man, it was nice, was it not?
Wasn't it? Absolutely.
Is that what they call Bermuda grass?
The turf monster, yep. Sometimes it happens on that real grass. Whoop.
And they'll have something there. He would be able to wind that back and pick up a nice gain. But now you have 3rd down and 6. And what you can do is make sure that Sawyer Robertson can't hurt you with his legs, because that's what he's done.
Robertson with an out pattern under a lot of duress, and it impacted that throw. Trigg was the intended receiver, but now John Haycock is bringing that pressure that you were asking for.
You got a guy that's coming into your screen right there, and Sawyer Robertson doesn't have enough time. He tries to buy time, and that's exactly what you have to do. You have to put pressure on him from where he doesn't expect it. He didn't expect it, but when you see those safety stacked, I've talked about it before, safety stacked, you have to assume that there's going to be pressure. Robertson doesn't see it, and Iowa State's defense is off the field for the first time tonight.
Parker Williams with his first boot after Iowa State stopped them because of a slip. Yeah, I mean, because of that slip, they got the stop. Some wonderful images of Iowa State's football and his dad, Sean, his lovely wife, and Brock's mom. That date on 2018 when they knocked off undefeated and 6th-ranked West Virginia here. They stormed the field after that game to Sweet Caroline. And here is Jaden Hickens and a marker down as he takes it up ahead of the 40 to the near the 41-yard line. Looks like it's holding defensively, the preliminary indication.
Yeah, I love what they found.
Holding, number 33, defense. The penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Tudashinda Salam is our referee tonight.
I love what they found with these slant routes, getting up on the toes of the defender, and it's a hold. He reaches out, tries to stop him, but the powerful nature and the stature of number 9, Jaden Higgins, he pulls right through in a perfect pass there by Rocco Becht.
Rocco says, yeah, let's move this thing. Jalen Jackson joins him out of the pistol formation now. Look out, this is where he's really tough. He's really tough to negotiate. Picking him up, putting him down. He is a fire plug. Jalen Jackson. $51 yards, big time play.
He comes and then he presses the hole, and it allows for a cutback for him to get down the field.
After all that, he gets it again. So he's not out of breath. Here's the play.
As a running back, you want to keep your shoulders square so you can get to those cutbacks. And then he gets back to where he would have gone had he not cut back. A very nice job. We told you this kid was explosive, and he's so tiny. He's so short that you can't see him until it is too late.
He's been at Lamar in Eastern Michigan, amassing all kinds of yards. They're well aware of him. This is an experienced back. That's the thing he has over Abusama, in that he can see the field and make those quick cuts that are such a difference.
He's got really good poise as a runner.
Hanson, similar story. That's a play fake to him and then nothing doing. How about that? Jalen, no, they were all over him. Devin Bobby,
man,
boy, he wasn't fooled. I was, but he wasn't.
It's not they. It's Devin Bobby who does a nice job of defeating the block and getting to the runner, because that could be a touchdown if he doesn't do it. Right here, standing in the end zone, he has to come down, make a play, defeat the block, boom, get outside. Nice job of getting down, no, because I'm just telling you, that is a tough ask by, that's a wide receiver who's built like a running back, who has great run after catch ability. He's got a great name, too, Devin.
Yes, he does.
Good. It's good.
3rd and goal. Beck with a pump fake. Over the middle, he's got the tight end. Bramer, touchdown.
Here he is right here. He's the tight end to the right of your screen. He's going to wait, and then turn to a middle screen down the field. Nobody's there for him. Matt Jones wants to have a chance, but the Turfmeister gets him, and he's in the end zone.
They are not chasing points, just going for the single point. Conradry. Ooh. After all those wonderful field goals, he misses the point after. The upright unkind as he hooked it. 3rd career touchdown for Bramer, and what a dart Beck threw.
Yeah, you got to get that pump fake, widen the defense, and then the middle is wide open. And like I've talked about, Benjamin Bramer is a 6'7" target. You can't miss him, and a nice throw by Beck.
You know, a lot of times coaches, even early in college football, will chase points and go for 2 to tie a game. I was really impressed that they didn't do that, because I think that happens far too often. And then he missed the extra point, which you just don't think Conradry will do. He's an excellent kicker, and has 2 tonight from 37 and 48. Let's check in with Mike Hill for what's coming up in just a moment. We'll do that after the kick, so stay right where you are. Jake Jolivet's always ahead of me. You ever notice that? Just a tease. Jake is teasing his announcer tonight.
A little tease.
Yeah, a little tease.
That's TV. That's good TV.
Yeah, let's go to the Sarge and find out what's coming up on the State Farm Halftime Show. Mike Hill, take it away. Can't wait.
All right, now, Mike, get out of my closet, okay? He saw what I was wearing today, and he said, you know what, let me go into wardrobe, get that too, because it looks so good and old. Yeah. Mike Hill's always well-dressed.
You might want to give the Trilling a call. 1st and 10 with the ball at the 25. Robertson. Oh. You know, he thought about running, and then he saw Cameron darting across late, and he was just a little bit behind with that throw. Now, remember, he's throwing it against a pretty brisk breeze as well.
And if you're Robertson, you have to be more poised. There wasn't any imminent danger. It felt like maybe, but the offensive line did a nice job of keeping them off of him, and the middle of the field was wide open. He had something there, but he moved a little too quickly.
2nd and 10. This Baylor team's got to learn to roll with a fresh cup of success. They had a big lead against Colorado, couldn't hold on. Then they fell too far behind and couldn't do it. And a quick look in, it's caught by Ashton Hawkins. And that's a 1st down after a gain of 11.
That's a nice job there. On the previous drive, they got off the field because they brought pressure. Sawyer Robertson didn't recognize it that time. They brought pressure, and he replaced him with the throw. Nice job by Jake Spavital. You can see those freeze calls where he fake hikes the ball to see what the defense is going to do, and then he has a good idea of what he wants to call.
Spavital was a former head coach, now running this offense and has full autonomy. it was Hawkins again, and he attracted, among others, Jacob Ellis, number 44, a 225-pounder out of Roseville, California.
That's a good job by Ellis, but the plays made by Jontez Williams, because he's so violent at the point of attack as a cornerback, he doesn't allow himself to get blocked. He takes up 2 offensive players, and now the linebacker can come out and roam freely and make a play.
Second and a long 8. Pressure again coming. Robertson identifies it, and it's incomplete. Well, that was really an outstanding pressure. Hawkins was the intended receiver, and they were all over him. Malik Verdon is one of the leaders in that secondary. Here comes that pressure.
Bringing everybody to make sure they get pressure. They're sick of watching Robertson run around, make plays. They say, you know what? We're going to make you make a decision with people in your face, and they set up a 3rd down and long.
Tell you, 88 too. Iziagu is playing pretty well since coming in. J.R. Singleton is back on the field. They're 3 out of 4 on 3rd downs. Robertson's pass is reeled in. They're going to rule it incomplete, I think. No, they're going to say yes, incomplete. Hawkins had it, looked like he bobbled it, and it hit the turf on the way down, and they're going to rule it incomplete.
I love to see a defensive back. When the ball's caught, he doesn't give up.
Yep.
He continues to fight. He continues to rake the ball out, and that's what you see here. He's a tad bit early. However, they don't call it, so Jeremiah Cooper, outstanding job of that forced combat catch, and they're just not able to make it.
Yeah, and they're not going to appeal this either, Baylor. See, the ball was loose in there and definitely hit the ground. Yep. Jalen Noel will move back into single safety, awaiting the punt for Palmer Williams. Just his 2nd punt of the evening. Low snap, and it is blocked. Boom! And it is picked up and will be taken in for a touchdown. Gavin Yates. A 35-yard punt block return by Gavin Yates. A backup tight end and fullback.
2 out here, and only 1 protector is going to be able to go, and they get to the punter. The low snap helps them, and then they get it, and that's the freshman number 9, Kel Brazina, and then number 43, he is gone for a touchdown.
A big moment for that young man out of Frisco, Texas. They both were there. And you're right, Brazina was right there, but there were more than just a player or 2 on top of him. And just no chance, really.
A really nice job there.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, that's not Brazina. That's Miles Medicine.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 of them now.
It's so many 6s on the field.
Yeah, there's an Eli Green number 6 as well. I think it may have been.
Yeah, I think it's Eli Green.
No.
Oh no, it is Mendison.
It is Mendison. But it could have been a variety of 2 or 3 that got a hand on it.
Regardless of who
there.
it was,
yes.
An outstanding play. But remember the snap. The low snap, the punter has to deal with it, and it buys time for those guys to get on the outside, take a look. The ball's on the ground, and when you got 2-on-1, a nice job of selling out, and it hits him right in the ribs.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt tomorrow, but he has to sacrifice for the team.
What a Sunday hop to
And Matson is living it up, man. He is going to have the time of his life at Ames tonight. That is an amazing play.
Yeah, so nothing like having those dual numbers at work. Matson makes it happen and gets in for the touchdown, and it's 19-14. Wow.
Mendison, a reserve defensive end, man.
Well, don't forget, in primetime, Big Ten Showdown on Fox College Football Friday. Northwestern takes on Maryland. The action kicks off under the lights Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We had a bunch of 43s and a bunch of 6s at work on that last play. You see the story in this quarter.
We said they need to win the first quarter, but then the second quarter comes and Iowa State responds.
Well, typical of Matt Campbell teams, they're winning in the margins, right? They're Special teams now a factor. Pendergrass. That's great penetration from Ebel, 47, the weak side linebacker. Cooper cut through there to make the stop after a gain of just a yard.
You see what happens in team football. You get a few stops on defense, you start having success on offense, and then you get a special team stop, and you can see you got 4 defensive linemen, and they're putting pressure on Sawyer Robertson.
Robertson with time this time around. What a hit. Baldwin on the receiving end, and he was hammered immediately by Miles Purchase, who had a tough first quarter with those 2 interference penalties.
Miles Purchase! What a hit. That's the one, the kidney, you know, that back end space. It doesn't feel good, I'm just telling you.
Hands really being heard from now. 3rd and 1.
Zero coverage.
And they go out of the shotgun. Pendergrass. Well done. To the 39, a gain of 5, move the chains.
I mean, that's Pendergrass. That's all him. Iowa State had the defense. They had enough guys, but he gets contact made, and then he continues to drag defenders for the first down.
Quick comebacker. That's just a smart move by Katron Jackson Jr., a 4-star recruit.
In this Jake Spavital offense, the receivers, like I said, they have the option to read. So when he's running down the field and he sees high safety right behind him, he's not going to get behind him. He can choke his motor, stay back, and Sawyer Robertson does a nice job of finding him once again on that second, third play option where the first play doesn't work, and then he gets outside and makes a play creatively.
Well, Robertson's now 13 of 21 for 140, and adding to it here, Michael Trigg already with a touchdown catch. Has this one inside the Iowa State 40. What a second quarter of action we've had, huh? Malik Verdon makes the stop. That's a gain of 7.
How about the footwork and the ability to dance on the sideline by Michael Trigg? It's a little bit of, I'll catch the ball here, get close to the sideline. When I move, you move, just like that. Yeah. And then when I move, you move, just like that. And gets down the field. A very nice job there by the big tight end.
Quick hitch, going to Hawkins again. Great tackle in space by a young man, Jeremiah Cooper, the free safety. And he was doing a Bo Freeler impression that time.
This defensive backfield of Iowa State is doing such a good job on these screens because they have guys in the box or back. And these screens are good decisions by Sawyer Robertson, but they're closing so fast that it just doesn't work.
All right, you can take a breath now. We're at the 2-minute timeout.
That's my goodness.
They're taking a timeout, and
let's go.
We'll take it with them.
This is good ball.
Yes, it is.
And there's more on the other side, is there not?
Yep, and that's even before halftime.
That's right.
Football is sponsored by Burger King. 2 minutes left here in the first half.
What Iowa State does here is they match heads, and what Sawyer Robertson is saying is my guy Hawkins is better than your guy Cooper. But Cooper says, no, it's not. I'm going to get downhill and make an open field tackle and push them back. And so now it's a more difficult third down situation.
I've been to this building many times. It's never been this loud or this beautiful. This whiteout idea was a good one.
Nobody in the back end there.
Robertson, little tunnel screen action to Presley. And he's going to be stopped short of the first down. Great identification by Malik Verdon. He is so good back there in the back end, number 7.
And Tim, I like the call. They had what they wanted, but their big offensive lineman, number 72, Colton Price, gets out to try to block, and he kind of knocks the wide receiver off his track so he can't pick up the first down. But remember, Sawyer Robertson is a threat as a runner. The quarterback power is alive right up the middle.
4th and 2. Robertson, there's another stop, and listen to this crowd. And they got a short field to work with now. and they could get points before halftime.
What a nice play by the do-it-all safety, number 7, Verdon, who's in perfect position to make a play on not only the screen on the previous play, but also on the flat route with the tight end there. Watch him coming to your screen in position, knowing his job. A little early there, some will say maybe pass interference, but a nice job of knowing his responsibility and being where he's supposed to be.
Becht is going for the jugular, looking long. Markers down. Higgins, the intended receiver. It'll be pass interference. Devin Lemire, number 20, was in no man's land.
Pass interference, number 20, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And when we talk to head coach Dave Aranda, these are the plays you can't have. Lemire's supposed to be deep as the defense. He's trying to catch up, right? He's catching up, and then he has to make contact, and the referee is forced to throw that flag. You can't allow Lemire to get both hands, stop him, and then not throw the flag. If you're Lemire, you're the deep half safety. You have to be back. You can't allow people to get behind you.
This is a young man that's played a lot of football, too. He was a part of that Sugar Bowl team that beat Ole Miss as a freshman. Post pattern. Hello, how do you do, Jalen Noel? Markers down in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 10, defense, blow to the quarterback's head. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
So with that, you've got 41 yards. So celebrate this catch, and then they get half the distance to the goal.
I mean, what a job of jumping up and taking that ball away by Jalen Noel. And then the late hit is going to tack on just a little bit more. How about the young quarterback standing in there, taking the shot to the face, and didn't even go down? Take a look at the safeties yet again. Not deep is the deepest, and you allow Jalen Noel to run through your defense. You have to make sure that you're in position to stop everything and keep everything in front of you. They don't do it, and Rocco Becht recognizes it and throws a ball that Jalen Noel can catch.
He's caught a pass in 36 consecutive games, third longest streak in school history. You can make it 37 now. So they get 4 yards by way of penalty, 41 on the pass. So a 45-yard net on that play. How proud must Anthony Becht be? You know him well. Watching this game from distance, the Jets, who he does radio for, will be playing in London tomorrow. So he's he's watching this game. And it looks like they're going to take a look at this. Looks like the replay official, Don Capra, will be taking a look at this.
In my estimation, obviously, it's a defensive player, and we have to see if it does make contact to the head or neck area with the helmet. It looks like his arm is kind of the buffer, maybe in between, and it has to be super clear, right? He comes down. I think his hand is kind of in the space. So in my estimation, it'll be roughing the passer, obviously, still, but I don't think you're going to kick him out of the game for that. But, Dean, what do you think here?
I'm looking at it the same way you are, Devin. I see that contact, but I think he's got his hands. He's kind of leading with the hands. He does lower the head. I just don't see clear contact to the head neck area with the helmet. I don't think this should be a disqualification based on the looks we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm with you, Devin, and you too, Dean. I understand why they're taking a look at it.
The previous play was reviewed to determine if there was a foul for targeting. There was no foul for targeting on the play. It is first down to Iowa State.
Hey, I got a little nugget, Dean, that you might want to pass along to your colleague and ours, Mike Pereira. Don Capra is an old running mate of his in the World League of American Football. They were officials together across the pond back in the day. And Don's nickname was Scott, as given by Pereira to scout out where the great restaurants were in Scotland.
Nice.
First and goal for the Cyclones. What a second quarter they've had, huh?
And they're in that old school eye with a tight end at fullback. You got a fullback, and then you got a running back all lined up. right behind Beck.
They use that at Mount Union quite a bit. Now the straight tee.
Oh, here we go.
Old school football. It's Hansen. Baylor was prepared for it. Fooled no one on 1st and goal. Matt Jones comes up, the middle linebacker number 2, to make the tackle.
Yeah, Matt Jones was not fooled at all, and the issue is you don't get anybody to the second level. So when you don't get to the second level, you allow those linebackers to just sift through, see what's happening, and they get to them quickly.
Let's recap what's happened so far in this wild and woolly game. Baylor got out to the great start. Robertson was counting his money back there. He had so much time. A couple of touchdown strikes to get that early lead, and then came the response. First using the tight end, then of course the special teams play. Matson, the reserve defensive end, takes it in. 34-yard return after the block. And now after they get the 4th and 2 stop, they come back with the big explosive. That's one of the things that Iowa State has not had enough of this year. Explosive plays. They run so much conservative 12 and 13 personnel that they don't have as many opportunities at them, but Beck made a huge play, and they got down on the doorstep of another touchdown here. 2nd and goal. Speaking of a lot of tight ends, partner, there they are. That's Knoll in motion. Beck in trouble, has to unload, and it's intercepted. Big play and a huge mistake. The Bears come away with it. That's Garmin Randolph, number 5. And you know, he wanted to get rid of it, but he did not have the strength with that pressure coming to get it out of bounds.
Yeah, he's trying to do the right thing. He holds into the pocket as long as he can, and then he starts to escape. But Matt Jones is too fast on him, and he can't get the ball out. And when a guy's 6'8", it's hard to get over his head. A nice job by Garmin Randolph being in position. He's a guy that's been banged up, so you see him in the game, and he immediately makes an impact.
That's only the 3rd interception this year thrown by Rocco, and his intent was to get rid of it.
Oh, yeah, he tried to do the right thing. The thing about it is Matt Jones comes from inside the line of scrimmage, so he gets on him a little bit faster than he anticipated, and he's not able to get the ball away. That's a tough deal there for a quarterback in a position where, like I've talked about earlier, you have points, but you give them away there and give Baylor a chance.
Hold on to that play because it could be big in a close game, and we anticipate exactly that. Washington gets out for about 10, and a quick timeout now taken for Baylor. They'll give him 11 yards for the first down. And after a play like that, maybe you think about it, huh? You might.
I mean, the way Sawyer Robertson is playing, he's playing really good football, and they got 2 timeouts left, right?
They do.
So
they do.
They didn't take the timeout, actually, Tim.
I thought
let
they
it
had.
run out. Yeah,
yep.
They let it run out.
The officials actually.
The first down stopped the clock.
They had responded, and they decided to think better of it. Sawyer was outstanding, 16 of 25 for 149 yards. Well, Mike Hill does have a lot of help in there tonight. Emmanuel Acho, Chris Peterson, Coach Pete, standing by for the State Farm halftime show. Fellas, how do you do?
So well, Jimmy B, happy to be here. I visited Vanderbilt, yeah, this was a shocker. Diego Pavia, give him credit, man. He has stepped up. The junior Cheryl right here.
A pass right there. And the catch, come on.
That was on 4th and 1.
I mean, this is one of the biggest upsets you will see in the history of college football. Jalen Milroe, he struggled. He threw a pick-6 earlier. Great play right there. You already know what type of time it is for that young stud.
Ryan Williams, 17 years old. Crimson Tide down by 2, but Milroe here. Once again, another turnover right here. The team was down by 5, hit by Miles Capers. Fumbles, gives it up. Costly turnover for Milroe because Vanderbilt converts. Pavia, this kid was just incredible today.
He was coming from New Mexico State, playing on a much bigger stage, and he gets it done.
Under 3 minutes left, same score, 4th and 1, Milroe. Faking the handoff, Williams again in the round.
Phenomenal play call right here. At this junction in time, Alabama, they had 3 timeouts plus a 2-minute stoppage. They just needed a stop, Mike.
The defense could not stop them. Defense came in with the best third down defense in the nation.
Wow.
Vanderbilt, 12 for 18 on the day. First time ever upset the top 5 team. Kalen DeBoer, can you explain yourself?
There's some things that we're going to look back on tomorrow and, be really frustrated about. You don't like talking what ifs, and that's going to be the situation we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. But the guys in the locker room just talked about, there is only one option. It's to move forward, it's get back to work. I feel we got a great football team. We weren't at our best today, and we're going to find out, really, how much we care about each other and what it looks like moving forward. So, we've been tested in different ways. Really, a lot of the games here this season, and this is a different type of test for us now in our response.
Penalties, third down defense, turnovers really hurting Alabama today. How could they look like this after what they did against Georgia last week?
It's called the beauty of college football. I mean, that's really it. Vanderbilt has really good coaches. They have the same amount of scholarships. And if you don't bring your best, this is what happened. But Mike and all the Alabama fans, listen, it's not nearly as bad as it could be because you got the college football playoffs, meaning you have some rope here, you have leeway. Let's give credit to Vanderbilt. They played the perfect game. Diego Pavia was 16 for 20.
Yeah.
They time of possession, 42 minutes for Vandy. Excellent in the red zone, no turnovers.
Yeah.
And like you alluded to, the third downs. They were so good on third downs. They played as good as they could. Hats off to them. And your season's not over. Kalen DeBoer, he's as good as they get. They'll learn from it.
Kudos to Vandy.
Yeah.
The beauty of college football is what Coach calls it. I call it the immaturity of men. That's what it is.
Okay.
Alabama, imagine y'all for a second. You're 18 to 22 years old. You're 17 years old if you're Ryan Williams. You were praised, you were hailed all week long.
Right.
So much so that you were moved to the #1 team in the nation over the likes of an undefeated Texas. So now all week, Jalen Milroe, we're saying you're a Heisman frontrunner. Ryan Williams, you should be in high school right now. You're the best college football receiver we've ever seen, and you're just 17. Coach DeBoer, you have done a fantastic job replacing Nick Saban. You read it, you read it, you read it. But if you keep reading your press clippings, they won't read so nicely after a while. To me, it's not so much of the beauty of college football, though it is beautiful. To me, it's the immaturity of an Alabama team that's dealing with so much success. How do you handle it? They didn't handle it well. Shout out to Vanderbilt.
This is what Coach Saban would call rat poison.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah,
They were drinking it.
And they ate all of it today. Vanderbilt's first win ever against a top 5 team. Trying to bounce back at home against Auburn. Carson Beck did Alabama up in the second half last week. Brought him back in the loss. Dominic Lovett right here.
He had a nice, efficient game. 23 for 29, 2 touchdowns.
And he finds Dylan Bell here for one of those touchdowns. Georgia wins it 31-13. Only ranked matchup of the day, number 9, Missouri, number 25, Texas A&M. And this was all Aggies.
Arch, somebody didn't show up today for this game. I'm not sure.
Missouri still thought they're on a bye week. Again, Texas A&M over 520 yards of total offense, 230 rushing, 270 passing.
Ooh, 1 of 3 touchdowns for Le'Veon Moss right there. 41-10 the final there. Iowa, Ohio State. Ohio State's for real. First real test of the season for them. Jeremiah Smith.
This was a true freshman, ladies and gentlemen at home. His third one-handed catch in the last 2 weeks.
14-0. How about Howard to Emeka
Egbuka?
Third of the day. You said the greatest receiving core in the nation right now?
Gotta be.
Ohio State wins at 35-7. UCLA, Penn State. Wasn't the prettiest game in the world for Penn State. They got the job done against UCLA.
Journeyman-like effort.
Drew Aller to Tyler Warren, then Katron Allen. No Nick Singleton in this one, but Penn State wins at 27.
Big one for Penn State next week.
How about Indiana? Yeah, Penn State's got USC next week. Number 23, Indiana undefeated. Northwestern, Curtis Ward, Miles Cross back in the end zone.
Indiana playing some really good ball. Really good ball. 3 touchdown passes for Rourke.
Signetti doing the job down there.
There was no question about that.
Keyshawn Williams, Rourke 380 yards, 3 touchdowns. Indiana 6-0, 41-24. Hey, if you haven't seen Ashton Jency play yet, Coach, they've been missing out, huh?
Man,
you better recognize this man might break Barry Sanders' record. Baylor's Michael Trigg with the TD catch right there. They took an early lead, but they've given it up. It's a 5-point game at the break.
Jam-packed crowd at Jack Trice Stadium as we get ready to begin the second half. That's right, we're right up here. We welcome you back along with Devin Gardner, Tim Brando. Just as we thought, Baylor, a tough matchup for this undefeated Iowa State team. Yeah. But the game turned on a couple of turnovers and big plays in the second quarter.
Yeah, Baylor got off to a fast start like we wanted to see them do because they just haven't done in the season. But then they gave Iowa State points with a block punt, and it's because of a bad snap. You can see here, if that snap is good, that ball's punted away, and Iowa State will have to drive the field, but they don't. They get it blocked, and then it's an easy trot to the end zone there. But they give it, Tim, and they also take it away.
That's right.
So just before the half, it looks like Iowa State has control. They're going to go in and score, and you can see here, the quarterback, Rocco Beck, just doesn't see Matt Jones. He's hiding behind the offensive lineman. So when he comes around, it's a surprise. He can't get the ball away, can't get enough on it, and it's an interception for Baylor. A very nice job of both these defensive coordinators kind of getting a handle on what's going on in the game, trying to figure these offenses out because these offensive teams are playing really good football.
Two interested parties, Dave Aranda, a champion, and of course, Iowa State was so close to a title themselves a year prior to that, and that kick will also go out of bounds. So some outstanding field position for Baylor to open the second half.
You know, Tim, there are some things that you just don't like.
Yeah.
I do not like kickers kicking the ball out of bounds. I don't get it.
Here comes the call.
There are 2 fouls on the play against the kicking team. Offside, number 0, that penalty is declined. Free kick out of bounds. That penalty will be enforced. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down, Baylor.
Let's go down to Josh Sims. Josh?
Well, Dave Aranda told me, look, we saw some different formations from Iowa State in that first half. Now that we've seen those formations, we have to trust our adjustments. He said also, in this second half, we got to clean up the penalties, and most importantly, we got to keep our composure.
Now, that has certainly been an issue for them. That's a quick little look in, curl pattern to Trigg, the tight end, and he is a tough guy to cover. Again, we go back to going down to the field before the game. He's huge. Yeah. I mean, he could play defensive end. That's a 19-yard gain.
You can see there on that first snap, Iowa State tries to get pressure, brings both linebackers.
Washington tries to bounce it outside. Nothing doing, a gain of only a yard on that play. It'll be 2nd and 9.
On these first 2 plays, Coach Haycock went in that locker room. He said, we are not allowing this kid to continue to run around the backfield and make plays. We're going to put pressure on them, but in the back end, they have to be sound. They have to make sure they plaster to these wide receivers and get in their zones and get eyes on the quarterback so that he can't get the ball out quickly like you saw in that first play.
That's a big leap throw to Presley, isn't it? That's just a thing of beauty, and they're going to go fast again. Robertson, after the 13-yard completion, is set up shop now. They're looking to score and score quickly.
Yeah, Sawyer Robertson early here on this drive is in rhythm. You can see him get back and just put that ball outside.
Streak right down the sideline. It's caught by Presley, but out of bounds. He reeled it in. That was a beautiful high pointing of the ball, but he ran out of real estate that time.
Man, that was close. And what a nice throw by Sawyer Roberts. He puts the ball high outside exactly where Hal Presley wants, and he goes up, and he does step on the pylon out of bounds. Nice job by the referee seeing it, and he gets into an argument with the referee. The referee's, nope, I saw it a mile away. He's trying to get a challenge play, but that would be unwise.
2nd and 10. Trips to the bottom of your screen. Robertson rolls in that direction. Now dumps it underneath on the check down to Trigg. Trigg, by the way, caught that touchdown, you might recall, then got the penalty.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, a poor kick. And suddenly Iowa State got the ball at midfield, went down and scored.
Yeah, they did.
And I thought that kind of mistake is the composure problem that Aranda was talking about to Josh Sims. 3rd and 3.
You got nobody back. No safeties back in that back end. And you got one-on-one down at the bottom of your screen.
With Cameron, you're right. And he's looking that way. Back shoulder. Beautiful play. Mano-a-mano, Miles Purchase, who was tagged with 2 very difficult PIs early, made a really good play here against Cameron.
Yeah, he's a guy who they've attacked to a certain extent, and he is in position to make that play. Like you said, 2 pass interference calls, but he has not stopped playing aggressive. You can see there he has hands on, but what you can do, you just can't impede him, and he plays the back shoulder throw, which is a very difficult throw to play.
He's in there for the senior Darian Porter, who was a game-time decision, simply could not go. Looking for Washington, pressure up the middle. Washington's wide open. So is this guy. Touchdown, Ketron Jackson Jr. Well, there was a bust in that secondary. To your point, they were putting a lot of pressure up front. And Bryson Washington was running absolutely free on the other side of the field, but so too was Jackson.
And they're trying to figure out whose man it was because it was man-to-man defense, and you got everybody chasing, but one guy is not. We don't know who it is, but Ketron Jackson is wide open for a touchdown, and yet again, Sawyer Robertson uses his legs to buy time and get that ball in the end zone.
Second touchdown for Jackson, Sawyer Robertson's 3rd tonight. And the extra point from Isaiah Hankins is good. Just like that, the Bears get the ball and convert. These 2 defensive-minded teams are going to have to win with offense tonight. It'll take at least 30, one would think, to get out of here with a W. Back to the touchdown, Devin.
On that last play, it's a perfect man beater. You got crossing patterns here, and then one going through the middle. Now, it's man-to-man defense, so Verdon here is going to start to motion his hand. You take mine, you take mine. And if you take mine, I have to take yours, but he doesn't take his. And so now you got a miscommunication, and you got Ketron running wide open for a touchdown. Miscommunication there. They have to shore that up. And a perfect call by Jake Spavital of making sure those crossing patterns, because you can get crossed up, and Iowa State's defense does there.
Well, and they were crossed up with 2 of them. Washington coming out of the backfield was equally wide open on the other side of the field. So that they were doomed. Let's go down to Josh.
Well, Matt Campbell told me coming out of the half that, look, we fell behind early, but we had faith in our kids that they would make a game-changing play. We saw that with the punt block that gave them the lead. He said of his quarterback, Rocco Beck, he is playing well, other than that pick he had towards the end of the half. But he said, look, it is a 4-quarter game. We're in for a battle. We got to keep it going.
Yeah, and in defense of Rocco, that was one he was really trying to get out of bounds.
Yeah.
But the pressure was so great and so quick that he didn't have the strength in that right arm of his to get it there.
That's a backward pass.
That's indeed. That is a lateral to Knoll, and he's fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. Great pressure coming, and Tevin Williams was the guy that comes away with the stop.
And a violent tackle by Tevin Williams III. Watch him come up and get that stiff arm out of here and pull him down by the back of his helmet.
Yeah. That was a good clothesline that did not deserve a penalty flag.
You got to find a way to get him to the ground.
Absolutely.
By any means necessary.
That looked like one of those tackles in the original Longest Yard.
Yeah.
2nd and 10. Looping it deep, and it is incomplete. Marker down. Higgins, the intended receiver. And really, that was about all that Caleb Parker could do. You know, a linebacker isolated there. That's a tough.
Number 47, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's a tough take.
And what you said, that's exactly why you put one of your best receivers, if not your best receiver, Jaden Higgins, into the slot. You can see him kind of being handsy himself, but the defense gets called for trying to reach and pull him back from making the catch. It's all about matchups. You see a Baylor who's trying to play some man-to-man and trying to mix it in, and you put your best receiver in the slot. And so now he draws the assignment of a linebacker, and it's just a mismatch on every single play.
Well, I mean, if Higgins catches that ball, it's a huge play. That's one of those sort of penalties that Dave Aranda will accept. Jalen Jackson, look at this. Just look at the change of direction. And then a little lumber laid. I mean, he got popped by Williams. You talked about his violent hits. But I would say Jalen Jackson did a little dishing of his own.
I mean, that is so good because he can't get outside. He gets underneath, and then he gets back on the path that he would have been on already. And then he tries to lower the boom. I would give that I give that a stalemate, though. I give that a stalemate. I think that's a good job on both ends. Nobody won that one. We'll have to see again next time.
50-50 on the leverage.
There we go.
2nd and 3. Beck, he's got an open man on the post pattern. It's Noel. He's got it inside the 10.
He's going to get down the field, and if you're that close, you got to touch him, because if you don't, he is gone. A great job of Noel understanding he's man-to-man coverage. You're just going to blow through the middle of the defense. There's nobody there, and a nice throw by Beck.
That wind we were talking about a bit earlier is still prevalent. I mean, that's a great pass.
And that is Chateau Reed in coverage, number 21.
Yeah, the Chateau got beaten on that one.
Yeah.
41 yards, the connection. Hanson's in the backfield now. Play fake to the corner. Back shoulder for Higgins. He could not bring it down.
That's a good throw. That's exactly where you want that football thrown. You got the slot fade, one of the most indefensible routes in football. Beck puts it on that back shoulder for his nice tall receiver, and Higgins is going to make that play more times than not. He just stays with the defensive back Bush the second for a little too long and can't react quickly enough to the back shoulder.
Taylor Mauser, the offensive coordinator, told us that, you know, Beck was a little errant, throwing the ball and missing open receivers.
It's not been tonight.
Said he made a shoulder pad change this week. That can make all the difference in the world for a quarterback.
Yeah, after this play, we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Jackson, action Jackson, and a block that was to end all blocks by Burkle, the tight end, 84, touchdown. That is a shake and bake for 6.
Yeah, his name's, you know, Jalen Jackson, but I'm going to call him Action Jackson. He can't even be touched in flag football. He'll be in the end zone anyway. What an outstanding run throughout this entire drive, and then he caps it off with that. What a nice job by Jalen Action Jackson.
Jackie Marshall, the defensive end, number 0, he's got to be thinking to himself, wait a minute.
Where'd he go?
I had him. I'm like, I'm tackling him. Where did this guy go?
Hey, he's playing flag football. He couldn't get his flag.
Wow. I mean, look at, he's like, gone, see ya. Bada bing, bada boom.
Action Jackson.
Okay, trainees, let's work on our
State team armed with 3 outstanding backs. And for Jalen Jackson, his first touchdown in his career here at Iowa State, and could not have come at a more opportune time. 5 plays, 75 yards. What a response to that early touchdown for Baylor to take the lead to start the second half. Short and returnable. Jamal Bell. Tremendous coverage. Down he goes inside the 20. All right, let's go back to Mike Hill in Los Angeles for an all-state game break.
Fellas, don't forget about Clemson taking on Florida State. First quarter's Cade Klubnik going up top to Antonio Williams. This would be a 57-yard score to make it 10-zip. It's now 23-7 Tigers in the third. Clemson looking for its 4th straight win in a season to forget already for the Noles. Tim and Devin.
All right, Mike, thank you. Well, we threw it back to you prematurely, I gather, because there was a fumble that took place after he hit the ground.
Yeah, he's down.
Yeah, and I think this will be overturned. Crowd is responding to it.
No, Tim, no, Tim. You don't think. You know for a fact that will be overturned. The ground cannot cause a fumble.
And that's really the reason I threw it to him so quickly, because I knew that.
Get on the table, right? You know.
Listen, it hasn't been a perfect night, but I wasn't going to miss that.
Oh, yeah.
They got to overturn this.
The previous play is under review to determine if the runner was down prior to the ball coming loose.
Yeah.
This should be a fairly quick review, expedited.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
But if you're Baylor, you don't want to just risk it, right? What if you don't have a camera angle where you can see it and it's called a fumble on the field and you have to stay with the call because you just can't see? You want to make sure you hold on to the ball and don't give Iowa State opportunities. You can see that they're playing motivated football at home. It's a whiteout, and the crowd has been crazy. Don't allow them to get momentum when you have played really good football offensively.
But Baylor's got to be thinking, well, we lost 2 the hard way.
Yeah.
As hard as you can. Here comes the call.
After review, the runner's left elbow was down prior to the ball coming loose. Baylor will keep possession of the ball, and it's first down.
Well, these fans want the jugular, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
They are fired up. The last visit I made here was for that game against West Virginia back in 18 and Brock Purdy's first start. Matt Campbell's team, that night it was a blackout. I got to tell you, the whiteout, visually,
I like it.
Much better.
I like it.
And with apologies to Rutgers, who had a wonderful blackout for us a couple of weeks ago.
That was.
It was. But in this building with this setting, just magnificent.
I've always been partial to the white uniforms at home. It's kind of cool.
Washington's in the backfield. After a little pump fake, he grabs that one for a negligible gain on first down.
They're going to go look
late
at targeting.
flag. They're going to get a targeting, I think, here.
Yeah, they're going to look at it.
We may have a stoppage in play for this, and he got dinged, it appeared, too. That's Tayshaun James, number 19, the freshman out of Oklahoma City that delivered the blow, and he's still on the ground. Bryson Washington has been a valuable commodity to this Baylor offense, too.
Yeah, being able to catch the ball in the backfield, but you can see he's clearly defenseless.
Yeah.
Forcible contact to the head or neck area for a defensive player. That's going to be targeting, and that's going to be a big loss because now Tayshaun James has to sit out the next half, the first half of the next game as well.
And by the way, these games don't get any easier for anybody in the Big 12.
The result of the play was an incomplete pass. Personal foul, targeting, defense. The previous play is under review.
And, you know, people at home are probably thinking, well, he didn't lower his head. He came in with his head up. But for a defenseless player, it's not about the crown of the helmet as much anymore. It's more about forcible contact to the head or neck area. And I think that's about as clear as it gets.
I'm with you. Unfortunate in the sense that it's a boom, boom play. But, again, you're right. This is exactly what they've put it in for. But Dean Blandino may have a different perspective as Washington goes to the 10th. Dino, what you got?
I think you guys are all over it in terms of it is a defenseless player trying to catch a pass. Now we got to look at the body posture of the defender. There's no question he's dropping his head. There's forcible contact to the head neck area. Now they're going to think about, okay, is he truly attacking? Is he playing the ball? Is he more absorbing or bracing for that contact? That would be the only thing that I could think would take it off.
There were 2 elements of the play under review. The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is confirmed. Also, after review, personal foul targeting is confirmed. Number 19 for Iowa State is disqualified. The penalty is 15 yards. It's a first down.
Obviously, they felt that the player was in an attacking posture, and you can see coach is upset. But again, when you have a defenseless player, that contact to the head neck area, that's what the rule is designed to prevent for the protection of our student athletes.
Yeah, Tayshaun, who plays the same position as Malik Verdon, they need him out there, especially the way this game has been going. The pressure on that perimeter, you could see the pain. Matt Campbell, it was all over his face.
It's very unfortunate because he's playing hard. It's nothing really malicious about it, but you don't want the referees trying to referee intent.
And oh, by the way, next week they're at West Virginia, and not having him in the first half of the West Virginia game is problematic. By the way, did you happen to see that performance they put on at Oklahoma State today? My goodness. Mountaineers have found some traction. Garrett Green, their outstanding quarterback. 26-21, Iowa State with the lead. Baylor has the ball at their 35. Dawson Pendergrass has come in the backfield. They go 2 by 2 with 4 wides. Robertson, plenty of room. Shoots it out to Trigg, and what a target he is. That's another first down at midfield, a pickup of 16.
That's a really nice throw by Sawyer Robertson. It's just an out route and a nice job of avoiding the defender, widening, and then snapping it off. And in the defensive backfield, Jeremiah Cooper, number 4, he tries to go underneath and misses it by a hair. The preciseness of the throw is what made that play happen.
Mark the ball at the 49 of the Cyclones. Baldwin in motion. Right up the gut. Pendergrass Tries to spin, baby spin, but to no avail. He'll be stopped inside the 45 at the 43-yard line. A good game, though. Gain of 6.
That was almost a huge play, Tim. If not for number 47, Cooper Ebel, that play might have gone the distance. A nice job of him just reaching out, trying to grab Pendergrass to stop him from getting down the field.
He had a team high 9 stops, a career high, too, against Houston last week. They totally throttled the Cougars offensively. And how about their win against TCU last night? Cougars came alive for Coach Willie Fritz in his first year. Now they go bubble screen. It was set up, but again, red after Presley couldn't find the handle. It was set up. And look who's back out there. Wow. Dominique Orange, number 95. The thumper at all 325 pounds. And that Feldman freak is now coming out of the game on this passing situation at 3rd and 4. But boy, it's good to see him back out there.
Yeah, he had his shoulder wrapped up, and that's impressive because he had his shoulder pads off. He was visibly upset. For him to be back out there, that's a tough kid.
They're 4 out of 8 on 3rd down opportunities, the Baylor Bears. 3rd down and 4. Robertson looping it long. Incomplete for Jackson. Katron Jackson came up with that touchdown pass earlier.
Look who it is again.
Yeah, Miles Purchase. They're going to continue to pick on him, but he is improving as the game goes along.
I mean, just walling the receiver off, doing a nice job, and he becomes essentially the receiver. What a nice job of him coming back from in the beginning of the game where he had those pass interference calls. Some defensive backs could go in the tank. He hasn't, and he's done a nice job. But Baylor is trying to go for it here on 4th down, and there is nobody yet again in the back end. You can get wide receivers there quickly.
Just their 3rd try on 4th down. They're 1 out of 2 on the year. Robertson gets away. What a duck under. Now shovels it. It's caught for the 1st down. Trigg with a treat with the help of Ketron Jackson. My goodness, what a play.
I mean, that's all Sawyer, Sawyer Robertson. They cover it this time. They go with the crossing patterns that they scored a touchdown on before, but the ability to buy time, and then at the last second, little poop right over the top.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. What a play.
He was just behind the line of scrimmage. In trouble. That was almost picked off. Cooper had a shot at it, and that was a case of Robertson, a little like Beck earlier, was trying to unload it out of bounds. Did not have the arm strength to get it there because of the pressure.
I mean, look at him just trying to make a play. They're putting pressure like we said that they should. He protects the ball, and then at the last second, he sees Ketron and just tosses it to him like a basketball flick. And then he almost took it away from his own team by throwing the ball to Cooper. He giveth and he taketh, just like we talked about at halftime.
Well, this season, Baylor's gone on 4th down 20 times. 20th time this year they've gone for it, and they hit it 12 different times.
That is not good to see Verdon down because they had just lost Tayshaun James, right? Those are the 2 guys that play that position. Obviously, the veteran Malik Verdon, he looks like he's getting off the field under his own power, and that they have to make sure they get him back in the game there, right? Because the depth, they have depth, but because of the exit of Tayshaun James, you don't have as much depth as you had when you came into the game.
We're told by Josh Sims that Bryson Washington, the outstanding running back for the Bears, has gone to the locker room after being in the tent for a while. So we'll continue to update his situation as Josh finds out more. Thanks for passing that along, Josh. 2nd down and 10. Trips to the top of your screen. They're at the left hash.
Iowa State's bringing pressure. They drop out.
And there's that little bubble screen action to Presley again. They tried to pull it off last time, and he couldn't come up with the ball. That time he did, and they get some healthy yardage there to make this 3rd down and short.
Hey, Tim, on that quick screen, you got Monterey Baldwin, 5'9", 172, trying to block big number 88, Easy Agu.
Yeah.
And it's just not happening. He doesn't have a chance. He gives it everything. Business decision. 88 makes the play.
And by the way, I think that was a wise business decision.
Oh, very wise. I mean, come on. Monterey, you're not at Baylor to block that big guy.
Ezeagu is not feeling so good after making that play. It looks like he's shaking it off.
It was Monterey. Monterey was just too violent.
It's a heck of a block,
Ballman
right?
was just too violent. Hopefully he's okay.
We'll have some fun with that in the film room.
Yeah.
When they get back.
Hey, Monterey, you're going to try to block him? Hey, coach, he got hurt afterwards. It was me. I did that. Here's another third down for Baylor. Can Iowa State find a way to get them off the field? Remember, the legs of Sawyer Robertson have been dangerous, and we haven't seen the design quarterback run just yet.
Well, the last conversion was unreal on fourth down. See what they do on third. Gavin Yates, 43, the H-back has come in to help chip on the end, and they loop it down the sideline for the end zone for Presley, incomplete. Jontez Williams once again.
The defense might have been lined up off sides.
Step for step with him, and yeah, that might have been a free play.
That's going to be heartbroken. Just a fade route from Hal Presley.
Oh, they're going to pick it up maybe. Yep, I think they picked up the flag.
Sideline warning. Oh, man. That's tough. All right, you get a stop there, and obviously you think that Baylor's going to go for it when they throw a fade like that, but
4th and 2, going to do it again. See if they can get to 13 for 21. Jake Spavital, what do you have to dial up on 4th and 2? Look at this diamond formation up at the top of your screen. It's an interesting formation.
Iowa State doesn't have enough guys in the box. I will go quarterback draw or quarterback power right now.
Robertson, all kinds of time. He could run for it. He throws instead. Jackson intercepted in the end zone. A tremendous defensive play by Jontez Williams for the second straight week. A pilfer in the end zone. Robertson was late.
Thank you.
See, they're looking at the tablet. Spavital is, and you know he's got to be kicking himself. And you'll see why in just a moment here as Jalen Jackson is in that backfield again, fresh off the 10-yard scamper for a touchdown. And here he goes with a stretch play, and he cuts it back. He's going to find about 4 yards. 2nd and 6. Here is what the green grass that he turned down, Sawyer.
Sometimes the defense wins, but when you have legs, they can't win. They can't be right. Look at all of this space he has to go get 2 yards. He doesn't take it. He tries to throw the ball late over the middle, and that's a cardinal sin for a quarterback. Late over the middle, and what an outstanding interception by Jontez Williams. And he's looking like, man, I've run all day. I've used my legs, I've killed them, and I don't use it on that play.
Really the first big mistake he's made. And there's a quick slant caught by Knoll. Jalen Knoll out near the necessary yardage for the first down to the 30, gain of 6, and they'll move the chains.
The one thing that's very cool, I would say, for Iowa State, offensively and defensively, they've given up some things. They've not had success sometimes, but they haven't panicked.
No.
They have stayed steady, stayed the course defensively and offensively, and it's paying dividends for them right now.
You know, a lot of times, Devin, we don't talk about the mental game in football quite the way we do about other sports like baseball, certainly golf, but man, the mental game is coming into play tonight. You see one team with a lot of confidence right now, and the other, man, we just got to get over the hump, get a win. We've been heartbroken in consecutive games as Jackson has stopped, and Keaton Thomas and Trey Wilson make the stop. This is a heck of a Jontez Williams pick right here.
I mean, is he playing DB or is he the wide receiver?
Yeah.
What an amazing! You always say, oh yeah, he's playing DB because he can't catch. Well, whatever, right? Jontez says, no chance. Catch the alley-oop, and if it was a rim down there, he would have dunked it.
It was a 13-0 game last week, and Houston had great field position, and Donovan Smith, a veteran quarterback, albeit a bit banged up, just threw it a little late, and Jontez made him pay, just like what we saw to Sawyer Robertson. Back with a nice move for the first down. How about that? He just planted that foot and said, I'm going to get there with Will.
One-on-one, you're 6'8", give him a little 1-2, excuse me, gone. What an outstanding move there by Rocco Beck. When you got a guy that's 6'8", you can't allow him to get you to the ground. You got to make a miss.
He fought
does.
And he fought off the turf monster, too.
Yeah. A little 1-2, a little shimmy, a little shake. I like that.
3 carries for 28 yards for Rocco tonight. 1st and 10. Carson Hansen burrows ahead. He had 34 yards a week ago. That's a gain of 3 there. Cooper lands the nose tackle with the stop.
Tim, if that's you out there with the guy that's 6'8", do you got enough? Can you, you know what I mean? Can you got enough to look, give him a little 1-2, left, right? Yeah.
Maybe on the dance floor.
Maybe.
I'll show you what I know.
Okay.
Out there, no.
No. Okay. Just making sure. I just want to know what am I working with here? You know what I mean?
Abu Sama is back in there. This is only his 5th attempt in the backfield. He carried the first 3 times in the game. They play fake to him and go to the tight end Moore. Tyler Moore, 6'5", 260, homegrown product from Johnston High School here in the Des Moines, Ames, Iowa area. Des Moines only about 45 minutes away. Gain of 14. Keep an eye on Sama. He's quiet, and then boom, he'll break away for, a big one. That's Linus Noel, number 98, that stopped him at the point of attack, right at the line of scrimmage there, and he'll check out. I'll say he lost a yard, so 2nd down and 11. Three tight ends in. It's a reverse. It's Jalen Noel, and he's got the 1st down. Well, tight formation with 3 tight ends, and they come with a little reverse.
It's a nice job. You put your running back at quarterback. You go quarterback to the left, and then flip it to one of your best playmakers. And Taylor Mauser, the offensive coordinator for Iowa State, is what they call in his bag right now. He's got this Baylor defense going left, going right, laterally, vertically. He's using the entire field, and he's really feeling good about what he's doing on offense. And it's partly because his quarterback, Rocco Beck, is playing lights out.
Well, they ruled that Noel stepped out of bounds before he was shoved out, so it's now actually 3rd and 2. Beck, the pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage, and they'll face a 4th and 2 now. And you got to figure they're going to go for it here.
That's about as frustrating as a thing you can see from a quarterback. Number 98, Noel the third, jumps up. He got eyes on the quarterback. He jumps up, he raises his hands, but it bounces off his head. Way to use your head, big fella. But as a quarterback, you see a guy open, he has a guy open, and you get the ball batted down. Stressful.
This is a young man that played at Nicholls State down in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and then on to Texas Southern in the SWAC. He dominated at the FCS level, and they loved his body and his measurables, and he's played really well.
You got a soft edge to the right.
On 4th down, they're 2 out of 3 on the year. This pass is a crossing pattern, caught by Higgins. Jaden Higgins inside the 15. That ball was tipped too, and it goes for 22 and a 1st down.
Such a good job of concentration by Higgins, because that ball is tipped, but he has to find the point. He finds it and then runs to get the 1st down. Outstanding job by a wide receiver of using his eyes and that hand-eye coordination that you love to see for a wideout.
Steve Linton tipped it, number 10, the linebacker. Corey Gordon, who was running him down, making the tackle, and he's still down on the field. So Gordon apparently took a knee to the head, so he's dinged. He might be up for a little protocol. We'll take a timeout with 1:34 to go in the 3rd.
Guess what, people?
The exclusive home of the NLDS. Jalen Jackson in the backfield. Worked out. You better have more than 2 guys in the vicinity. You're not going to stop him. Cooper Lands was in a good position, and he had some help.
I mean, it's just so hard to see him, right? He's hiding behind these big offensive linemen, and like I talked about all night, by the time you see him, he's already gone. Luckily for them, they were able to corral him and get him to the ground there, but he's a talented running back.
Iowa State now with 400 total yards in this game. Beck, look out, he can let it go here. And his receiver, Noel, was a little surprised. I think he felt like Noel did, that Beck was going to tuck it and go.
Yeah, Noel was trying to settle down. He was trying to settle down, and then he saw Beck pull the ball out. Because, you know, like I talked about in the open, Beck a year ago, they were begging for him to use his legs more. And he's starting to do it more this year, and it's a weapon for this offense. Because like I talked about with Sawyer Robertson, the defense can't be right.
Yeah.
They just can't be right. He makes one guy miss in the backfield, but Noel just wasn't ready for it.
3rd down and 8. Trips to the top of your screen.
You got tight end on the outside, down at the bottom.
Yep. He's looking that way. In the corner, it's caught. It's Higgins. It's touchdown.
We've seen slants all night where they go to the corner route here, and I really love the throw from Rocco Beck. He could throw it over his head, but why not? The defensive back's back his turn, throw it up, allow your tall receiver to go get it, something easy to catch, and it's a touchdown for Iowa State. A very nice job of understanding what you have, understanding the skill set of your wide receiver, and giving him something to catch.
That's his 11th touchdown catch of his career. 5th this season. And now, as we mentioned, 7 straight games with a touchdown for Higgins, going back to a year ago.
Higgins has done a nice job tonight. 7 catches, 94 yards, with 42 yards after catch.
Yep.
That time, just get in the end zone, and Rocco Beck will find you. And Coach Campbell loves his boys.
By the way, that's a school record, 7 straight games for him. That's an amazing feat for a team that likes to run it as much as this one. 13 plays, 80 yards, and now Baylor really up against it mentally because they're down by 2 scores. All the mojo is with the home team.
Yep.
They got to find a way to manifest something here after the mistake that Robertson made and pointed out. It was just a judgmental error in real time on a 4th down play.
The one thing that they can find comfort in, though, they've been down. Right, they've been down, they've come back, they fought back, and they know they have that in them. But for Coach Aranda, he wants his team to finish it, though.
Let's go back down to Josh Sims.
Well, guys, I was talking with J.R. Singleton about the Cyclones' takeaways, and he said every Sunday Coach Campbell puts up a slide that simply says the ball. And it's not about the defense or the offense. It's about both. He talks about on the offense, we have to take the ball away. And on defense, that is, we have to take the ball away at all costs. And on offense, we have to protect the ball. And we saw that last time with John Tez Williams getting that big pick.
Yep, the ball is the most important thing. When I describe it to young players that I talk to, the ball is the most important thing in the university, in the program, and everything, because a lot of what happens around this town hinges on what you do on the football field.
Curl Cameron, he's got it beyond the 30 up to the 32. You know, you got to give this defense some credit. They've made sure that we haven't called Josh Cameron's name nearly as often, really, since the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
When he made a couple of big-time catches to begin this game. Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4 as we come towards the end of the 3rd quarter. Pendergrass.
Mark a little bit short there.
That's Jameer Hawk, number 53, that made the stop. And that's the end of 3. And the Cyclones looking to remain undefeated. 16 with a point. Trying to tell the rest of the country, hey, you don't like our brand? We don't care. You got to consider us for the CFP, like it or not, playoff privilege. Talk about a response. After falling behind 14-3, the Cyclones have now outscored the Bears 30-7, and this environment hasn't hurt a bit in that plight. 3rd down and a yard to go for Baylor. They need a response early, and now they're in trouble behind the sticks and stopped as Dawson Pendergrass And he lost ground. This will be a longer one on 4th down than it was on 3rd down, so they're going to have to punt it away.
Yeah, I think you have to punt it. And, you know, a lot of Baylor fans might be clamoring for him to go for it, but you have to. Outstanding job by this Iowa State defensive line of building a wall and not allowing Baylor to recreate a new line of scrimmage. Early in the game, we saw Baylor recreate a new line of scrimmage, and they were able to run the football, and they just weren't able to do it on that play.
Well, remember, the last punt for Palmer Williams was blocked. Gets that one off, though, without a problem. And Noel, a tremendous return man, gets the fair catch called at the 24. Our Pacific Life game summary is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 160 years. And this is the play. It was a big one. And Matson scooped it and scored with it. And he had plenty of help.
And how about the running back action? Jackson breaking the defense down and skipping his way into the end zone, and then the outstanding interception
by Jontez Williams. And that leads to the touchdown catch by Jaden Higgins. That's how we got to where we are at 33-21. Carson Hansen in the backfield, number 26. He almost popped it. I think he juggled the ball for a second, but regathered. Matt Jones making the tackle, number 2. Well, this is just a tremendous compliment to have Jalen Jackson, who they thought would be more effective in this game and obviously were prophetic. Hansen's had his moments. Abu Sama had a very good start in the opening series, but we've not seen as much of him since because of the effectiveness of Jalen Jackson.
Jalen action.
Jackson. 2nd and 3. Look out. Well, he got free this time and delivered a mighty blow to Devin Bobby as he went out of bounds. Carson Hansen showing his breakaway 2nd-level speed.
I see your action, Jackson, and I raise you a dancing Hansen. An outstanding job of patience in the hole and then finding it and bursting outside and delivering a blow at the end.
Did you like the Hansons when they were together? The Hansons were great. That was a great music group.
I don't know about them, but all I know is this Hansen is outstanding.
Yes. Look out! There he goes again. And Baylor now, you can see their shoulders are lowered, heads a little tilted in a downward fashion.
Yeah, you can see him in kind of that wildcat formation, fake it to the quarterback, and then get off of me and continue to move down the field.
Well, he's got 48 yards in the last 2 plays.
And he's going to get a well-deserved rest. Action Jackson's back in the game. He said, hold on now, don't steal my shine. Man, look at the discrepancy in rushing yardage.
That's the biggest difference. And that's been the problem for Baylor all season long from an offensive standpoint. Unable to get anything done on the ground. Not much room to roam that time for Jalen. Just a yard pickup on that play. Jackie Marshall leading the charges. But again, if we go back to what happened in Boulder a couple of weeks ago, you think the way you lose, you had control of that game, and then you come back home, you think, man, okay, we're going to get it together. Fall behind 21-0 to BYU. Stage a tremendous comeback, but fall short. You had 2 opportunities to pull it off. And then tonight, you get up 14-3 on the road, and you can't hold the lead. That's just the mental dungeon that this Baylor team finds itself in. 2nd and 9. Oh, wow. Look at that! The shiftiness, the greatness. Jalen, your special Jackson.
I've said it time and time again. Once you see him, it's gonna be too late. He gets into the hole and gets to the cutback, and again, in two-hand touch, he is not down. Action Jackson to the end zone again. 20 yards, and on the night, 13 rushes, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. This guy's been special.
Jackson's moving, and we want to see this move from him just one more time.
Just one more time. I mean,
oh man.
Watch him turn this guy around and just walk into the end zone untouched. And I think everybody at home will be happy to know that the stadium just played swag surf, and Timmy B was up here.
We were swagging.
And I didn't know you had it in you.
Of course I did.
I didn't know you had. You said you got some moves, and you showed it. A little swag surf.
Well, Jackson had 14 carries for 96 last week. He's better than that tonight. A career high 104. Still time remaining, too. Here's Jamal Bell with a return. And again, look at that coverage from special teams. Well, our power players, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. And how about this? It was an issue for them coming into this game, particularly that left side. And they had Travis move to tackle. Barrett, I think, has had his best game. And that was the consistent side on the right side with Black and Miller. But Travis and Barrett, particularly tonight, look at that, no sacks allowed.
Yeah, and we were talking to the offensive staff, particularly offensive coordinator Taylor Mauser. He was very transparent. I told him, I saw him film, there's a lot to be desired at the offensive line position. And he said, and they have a task this tonight, and they have stood tall and showed that they are capable.
Ketron Jackson makes the catch. And the check down underneath, gain of about 6, it would appear.
You'd love to see a group that's challenged and they stand and fight back and play the way that they've played tonight. 0 sacks and over 200 yards rushing. Very impressive.
And when you look at the numbers on Baylor, now granted, they're well behind now. They're going to have to throw it on almost every play.
Yeah.
Iowa State knows that. They go empty with 5 wides now, and this one has looped in, almost caught. It would have been a miraculous grab by Hal Presley towards the back shoulder, and he is slow to get up.
That is no good.
No, and he's one of their best threats in vertical routes. He's up and able to take himself off the field, it would appear.
Yeah, that was almost an outstanding catch, but could not pull it in. And Sawyer Robertson has played a really good football game.
Yes.
I mean, he almost looked unstoppable at a point in this game, and you get the one bad mistake, and it puts you in a position where all the momentum is on the sideline with the uniforms in all white.
We talk about the mental aspect of the game. When he made that mistake on 4th and 2 when he could have run for it, instead he threw it late for the pick by Williams, it was as if his entire team shoulders just shrugged, and they've not yet recovered from it. That pass into some traffic for Cameron, incomplete.
I think you got to go here. I know you punted last time. Even though you're in a position, I think you almost got to go here, but they're coming out to punt. You see he tries to fit that ball in there, and there it again, Purchase.
Yeah, he's been everywhere. He got the 2 PIs early in this game that helped set Baylor up to finish off some drives to get that lead of 14-3.
Tim, I've never been a defensive back, but I imagine it's similar to when you throw interceptions as a quarterback. It's hard to pull yourself back up by your bootstraps. He gave up some pass interference calls, big plays, and he's responded.
Palmer Williams' boot was 57 yards. Jalen Knoll with the return. Talked about having... Fox College Football is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Tim Brando, Devin Gardner, Josh Sims with you. Our content coordinator, Scott Alexander. Spotter, Brett Bender. Name sounds familiar, it should. The son of the great Gary Bender. And T-Rich, Terry Richardson, special consultant to Devin Gardner. Carson Hansen in that backfield. And he's up to about the 28-yard line. And more on Jalen Jackson's great night, right, Josh?
Well, yeah, and when talking about Jalen Jackson this week, Matt Campbell said the word to describe him is hungry. He came in with a hunger to grow and get better every day. They noticed it in spring ball. He said he brings this maturity from being different places, seeing different cultures, and the maturity of having success already on the football field, and that's carried over with the Cyclones program.
Yeah, remember, Tim, I go in the meeting, I said, hey, he's getting a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and he's proven that he is a talented back in his backfield. I think he is perfectly suited for what the offensive line is capable of.
Hard to get him down by yourself, but Matt Jones did that time. Stop back at the 26-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and long. Jones was not going to let go that time.
Oh, yeah. Just right through the middle of the offensive line and said, no, no, no. I've seen what you've done to everybody else. You're not doing that to me. Enough is enough.
Yeah, 3rd down and 8. By the way, if Iowa State goes on to win this game, they would be 5-0 for the first time since 1980. And by the way, that team in 1980 finished 6-5. They lost 5 in a row, then beat Oklahoma State in the finale. Nice over the middle and caught. That's Jaden Higgins. He's been the go-to receiver tonight. Jalen Knowles had his moments, but Higgins is such a great compliment on the other side, and he's getting better in this offense every week.
Yeah, and it's really cool because Rocco Beck, you can see here he is right here. Rocco Beck is getting better as well. He's improved tonight, and you slip down and fall, but no, get back up. They're just in a groove. And what you've seen from Rocco Beck is a change in shoulder pads, and he has been on tonight. Not many errant throws, if any. And, you know, he has the one interception that we both know that he's trying to throw that football away, but he has done a really nice job tonight.
Higgins has 8 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown. Hanson trying that left side. Cooper Lands runs right into him.
And of those yards you talked of, Higgins, 54 after the catch.
Yeah.
Right, he is Mr. Yak. And he's done an outstanding job of taking those shorter throws, slants, hitch routes, and turn them into bigger plays for Rocco Beck.
You know, when I watch Beck play, his measurables are actually better than Brock Purdy's.
Yeah.
But there's a striking similarity to the way they play the game. And when you talk to offensive coaches at the next level, one of the reasons Purdy is so good so quickly, even though he was Mr. Irrelevant, was because he saw so much in this offense. And Beck hands it here to Sama.
Yeah, you said they were similar. Well, how similar are they?
Yes, how similar are they?
Pretty similar, man. And I remember last year watching, because I had to go back to watch Rocco Beck's high school stuff before I did his game to see what type of player he was. And then it's like, man, this looks like somebody. And then I went to go watch Brock Purdy's high school stuff, and they were very similar in the way that they approached the game and played in high school. And then you can see some of the similarities here today. And I'm sure his dad is extremely proud of what he's seeing tonight. You know, Rocco Beck, you know him, I know him. His father is very proud of his son.
And by the way, his alma mater is next up, West Virginia.
Yep.
Back shoulder attempt, and we got a marker down. Interference. That was borderline mugging of Higgins by Johnson. Lorando Johnson, number 18.
Jaden Higgins has a knack for disengaging at the perfect time and forcing the pass interference call.
Number 18, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You see that subtle just try to go back for the ball quickly, and it forces the referee to throw the flag because he's looking right at it. He's done a nice job with that. For Baylor's defensive backs, they just have to try to keep hands off. And you saw that the referees called it even on both sides. Purchase got those same penalties earlier, but he changed the way he played. He didn't have hands on as much, and he started to make plays without pass interference.
Well, the level of confidence that Beck has shown tonight, given the paltry stats he had coming in. As we said at the top of the show, they were 4-0 without him really playing well. Tonight, he's played really well. Jackson spun down inside the 30. We'll mark it at the 30-yard line.
You know, this has been the Jackson, Rocco Beck, Higgins show. And for Higgins, that touchdown he had gave him the longest active streak in the FBS for touchdown scored. 7. That's so impressive.
Yep. By the way, I know you've never been a defensive back.
I know.
But your boy T-Rich has.
Yeah, and I'm telling you.
Richardson's,
it gives you a headache, man.
Ask him.
Hey, you out there, you got 13 targets to Higgins, and he's got 50-plus yards after the catch. It's devastating is what it is.
If you'd thrown it to him more at Michigan, he would have never been a defensive back. Sama was a nice little move as he tried to cut it back inside. That's one of the things that they're going to have to work on with the emergence of Jackson, and Hanson's had a great night too.
Yeah.
But they got to feed and fan Abu Sama as well, because he's a big ticket back as well.
Yeah, and I think he's going to continue to improve, right? Remember, he had such great success early, but he's still a young back.
So
improving.
much younger.
Yeah.
Pistol formation being used here.
Got man-to-man, and they're bringing pressure.
And they move the tight end, Bramer, who had that big catch in the first half, into the slot. And to the edge goes Hanson again. Marker down.
They're going to get a hold. I don't know if I like it, though.
Yeah, defensive holding, a preliminary indication. It's really come apart for Baylor after that opening drive, then a return to sender by Iowa State, and then that really awful 4th and 2. They failed to convert an interception.
Holding, number 98, defense.
Yeah.
The 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Tim, people at home are going to wonder, well, how can a defensive lineman hold? Well, you hold on to the offensive player to make sure he can't get to the second level. Watch number 98 grab so that they can't get to his linebackers. Now, it's a good thing to do, but you can't get caught, right? So they get caught grabbing and holding on so the offensive lineman can't get to the second level, and that's where you get a defensive holding call.
Now, when
it's not in the back end, of course.
Well, the passing game opens up when you're averaging over 6 yards per rush. And that's what Iowa State's done tonight. Hanson.
Oh, my goodness.
Hanson. Almost to the end zone. Brooks Miller, 41, senior from West Monroe, Louisiana, drags him down.
Tim, does it feel like to you that Jalen Jackson's performance is really helping others emerge?
Yes.
Right? It's almost like that healthy competition in a running back room where Hanson's like, I'm not going to allow you to just have all the shine, right? That's that's a play you would think you would see from Jackson, where you get up on the safety and spin move off to try to continue going down the field.
Well, Hanson's 5 yards away from a 100-yard night himself.
Wow.
Jackson has 107. He has 95. And I think they're aware of that, trying to get him the ball and maybe an opportunity to get into the end zone.
You have to, right? His offensive line has earned it, right? That's something for Hanson, of course. He'll get his 100. But that's the offensive line being able to have 2 rushers that have 100 yards. That's impressive.
By the way, while we're watching this, and we were really looking forward to this game, frankly thought it would be a lot closer. But that can happen emotionally to a team like Baylor that's been on this bad streak.
It's a couple bad bounces here or there.
Absolutely.
And Baylor would have been in this game.
But think about next week now in Morgantown. How much fun will that one be?
Who's going to be there? You gonna be
I
there?
think we'll all be there. Hanson burrows ahead, looking to try to get the first down. I'm not sure he made it. I think he might be a little short. But Garrett Green and company, Neil Brown's got that team. They've been a little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde act, but they were really the right form of that in Stillwater today.
It's good to see Rocco Beck get back to form. And I said it in the open. I thought that he would, right? A little more healthy, got his shoulder pads changed. And I'm actually upset with Rocco. And I'm going to tell you this right now. As a quarterback, you don't just change stuff. Coming into the season, he just started wearing a new pair of shoulder pads. What are you doing?
4th down, and they're going to go for it.
Young quarterbacks out there, if you got some stuff that you like, don't change your shoulder pads. And it looks like it's worked for Rocco.
3 tight ends in the game. Hanson, the lone setback. He was looking at drawing off sides, and not going to happen, so he gets a timeout. Or did they call a penalty instead? I think they may have done that. Nope, they got a timeout.
Prior to the play clock expiring, Iowa State takes their first charge timeout of the half. Media timeout.
40-21 our score. More on what lies ahead, not only tonight, but in the future when we come back.
some people just know.
And the Fox Sports app. Well, they decided to go ahead and go for the field goal here. Kyle Conragri from 22 yards out. Well, if you had the over, you look good. It's 43-21, and next week, the Mountaineers, but think about these tough games coming up for Iowa State after West Virginia, all right? Texas Tech in November at Utah, November 23rd. Kansas State, Farmageddon, and there'll be some revenge in that one because of what happened in the Snow Bowl a year ago when we closed it out on what was a beautiful snow white night, Thanksgiving weekend. But boy, oh boy, if you think about where this team is and the position they find themselves in, the Big 12 Conference, hoping that they can get more than the one automatic qualifier into the 12. And the best thing that could happen would be for there to be a team that dominates, that goes unbeaten or has one loss, okay? So that anybody playing them in the championship game maybe could pull it off, maybe win. And if you're unbeaten or only had one loss, much as was the case with TCU and Kansas State a couple of years back, boom, you found a way in with 4. Can you find your way in with 12 by getting 2 teams in? On the other side, it's going to be very, very difficult for that man, Dave Aranda, to turn this thing around. And, you know, he's a heck of a coach and a guy that knows how to win. Right now is just struggling to find some consistency in the run fit area, obviously, and defensively they've been abused a bit tonight in the passing game.
Yeah, we talk so much about winning in the margins, and Baylor tonight just hasn't been able to do that as well as their quarterback played. And to be honest, one mistake was made. It just seems like at every turn they can't find that extra to just get the plays done right. You want to punt the ball away. Well, the ball snapped on the ground and you can't punt it away. It's blocked and it's gone back for a touchdown. Flips the momentum. And so there were so many momentum changing plays in this game that Baylor was on the wrong side of.
They were. We're at the 2-minute timeout. All Iowa State in the second half after falling behind very early. Whiteout night has been a success. That's fantastic. That time of the year when homecoming is being celebrated around high schools across the country. Love to see the young people out of all ages in this football-starved area known as the heartland of America. Robertson's pass incomplete. Boy, was he getting some pressure. I mean, right in his face before letting it go. Iowa State has 535 total yards tonight. Baylor with 329 total yards. Listen to this. Sawyer Robertson has 282 of those 329. He's accounted for that much.
He's been special tonight. Like I talked about, it was the one mistake. If he runs against that first down, I'm sure they're going in that drive and getting the end zone. They've moved the ball, and it's been on his shoulders, and that's what it's going to be throughout the season. He has to play mistake-free football.
Pendergrass, a couple yards shy of the first down. The clock goes tick, 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 tick. Hey, we got a great one coming up next, partner. In Lubbock, Texas, Connor Onion and Mark Helfrich, Allison Williams standing by to bring you Texas Tech and Arizona. That will be a fun game. It may last a while. I hope they...
Well, it's going to last a while. I hope they ate. You know, sometimes, I forget to eat and during doing these late games.
Well, by the way, the Overton Hotel in Lubbock is wonderful.
Yeah.
Great place to dine, and I'm sure that they got some really good food. Oh, the game's in Arizona. Oh, excuse me. Game's in Arizona.
Yeah,
Tucson's great.
Tucson's great.
Yeah. Little Abner's is a wonderful steak place outside.
Try to tell them where to eat.
And by the way, the Overton's, I'm sure, busy tonight, even though they're not at home. Yeah. Should have known with the late start. Matt Campbell. Look at this consistency over time. 6 winning seasons, 3 Big 12 Coach of the Year awards. And he's done it with style and humility.
Yeah, he has. And I remember talking to him a year ago and even the year before that where you kind of ask him, do you ever want to leave, right? Your name floats around all the time with all these coaching jobs that come available, and he's like, I love it here. I love it. I love building young men, and he's done an outstanding job. Like I talked about early in the game, they never panicked. No, Baylor had their number early in this football game, and they never panicked.
And, Haycock, who he was hugging there, the guys that, people on his staff for the most part, he's had some changes at OC, but Haycock's been with him all the way through. Guy that spent time at West Point. That was Easton Miller carrying it, and J.J. Cole got in there at quarterback, and fans here are happy to see the big 6'7", 240-pound freshman from Ankeny, Iowa.
Another Elite 11 kid.
You know them all.
Yeah.
You never miss an Elite 11.
Man, it's great. Get a chance to see what they will become and see the stars of tomorrow. Brian Stump does an outstanding job. Student sports, putting that on.
And the crowd is going to let you know how happy they are to have had a successful whiteout night as they handle a Baylor Bears team that was hungry and played them off their feet, really, for the better part of 3 quarters of this game.
Yeah, I mean, Baylor came in with a really good plan, and the plan was Sawyer Robertson, take us to the promised land, and he played a really good game. He was poised for the majority of it, but the defense for Iowa State started to get pressure. They started to get him a little bit rattled, and he made one big mistake, and that's all she wrote.
Our thanks to our producer, Jake Jolivet, director Dustin Dente, Josh Franz, Warren Sales, our BA.